This is A1. I am Troy Siple. Thank you so much for eavesdropping this week. This week, I have a personal friend of mine, what I consider a true pioneer of podcasting. He created the Mediocre Show. Check it out. We go in depth. Way back, 2005, he's been podcasting. He's been a huge inspiration to me in my life for over a decade. Always helped me out. My man, Eric Tomorrow. You started podcasting in 2005. A true pioneer, I have to say. I don't know about that. I'll say it. Yeah, but I've said to you recently, by modern standards, everyone looks at what's his name?
Joe Rogan.
No. Yeah, well,
Adam,
yes, but
Adam.
Curry. Yes, yeah. But that was the same time. Was that within a year or so?
It was less than a year after Adam Curry. So it was basically within 6 months of Apple adding it to iTunes.
Okay, and
that's how I found out about it.
Why did you do one?
So growing up, my dad listened. My dad wasn't a music dude. He liked music, but he wasn't. He was a talk radio.
Sure.
KYW.
Yep. 10 on the 10s.
Yeah, fuck yeah, dude. Yeah. No, that's 1010 wins in New York. Traffic on the 2s is what you're thinking of. All right? Let's not get ridiculous. All right.
I'll redeem myself.
Yeah. Try this wrong tri-state area, motherfucker. Also, you have a lot of Jersey friends.
Yeah.
When they say tri-state, do they mean New York?
I'm pretty sure. For them,
for us, it's
we have different tri-states.
It's PA, Jersey, Delaware. But those motherfuckers are some fence riding motherfuckers, dude. Because they're they could be tri-state area. It could mean New York. You don't fucking know.
Yeah, Good Time Charlie in it.
Can't trust them motherfuckers.
No. Love them though.
But anyway, so my dad listened to that. So I grew up listening to people talk on the radio more than I listen to music. And I'm a big music fan. Big time. For bands, the whole deal. Mm-hmm. But I always loved talk radio.
Yeah.
But there was in the Philadelphia market for talk radio.
Yeah.
It was you got sports talk. Not a big sports guy. Mm-hmm. You got conservative talk.
Yep.
And, you got NPR. So I listened to a lot of NPR.
Mm-hmm.
But then, growing up punk rock, hardcore kid, they started on iTunes and they're it's like talk radio.
Yeah.
But very dialed into what you might like. So I went in the day it launched and searched punk rock. And I came up with this dude, if you remember the band 7 Seconds. So it was Kevin Seconds.
Yeah.
And it was just him, dude, it was not interesting, right?
Yeah.
But it was him going through his day and just recording little bits here and there throughout his day, on his phone, on his the early days of the iPhone, on his phone.
The voice memo or whatever version,
dumping it into, because there was a barrier of entry still back then.
You had to know what an RSS feed is.
You had to know what an RSS feed is. You had to hand fucking code it.
Yeah.
But then you also had to have at least a limited knowledge of recording equipment, and he's been in bands his whole fucking life, so he knew it.
Which is how both of you and I have any inkling as to how to do
I went to roadie school.
Yeah.
But he, so he would just record some shit throughout the day and then edit it together, and it was he was in the middle of opening, if I recall, a coffee shop with his wife or fiance, I don't remember, girlfriend, wife, fiance, and it was just his day-to-day shit, and I couldn't get enough, and I was man, this is dumb, but I need it. And I started finding more shit. I found the Adam Curry's shit, and then I listened to that, not because I enjoyed the content that he was putting out, but I enjoyed the level of professionalism because he came from radio.
Right. So
and then I was oh shit.
Came in with the quality.
He came in with super high quality phones and guests. Yeah. And I was oh shit, this is legit, dude.
And DIY.
And still DIY. He ran it out of his fucking extra bedroom. Legit. Adam Curry didn't have a studio. It was his fucking extra bedroom.
Right.
I'm sure it was a massive fucking house.
Yeah.
But, he got all that MTV money.
Right. Yeah.
And then I kind of got into that. And then there was this, do you remember Dawn and Drew?
Yeah.
I don't know if they're still doing it, but then that was kind of more of the style that I started doing. And there was a show called Nobody Likes Onions.
Right.
And I found them, and that's the genre of comedians doing a podcast and just talking shit, they invented that.
Right.
And they get no credit for it.
None.
But they were the ones that started, and they were just like small market Orlando stand-up comics.
Just
and they were just, they were doing open mics.
Mm-hmm.
But then they do funny skits and shit on their show.
Yeah.
So, and then I kind of like, okay, now I found kind of like what I wanted to get is like more of that radio quality production.
Right.
But still just two dudes talking shit.
Yeah.
Or 2-3 dudes talking shit.
Right.
And so that's how it all got started. And back then, dude, it was the Wild West. There weren't,
There's
Joe
no
Rogan
rules.
wasn't there.
Yeah.
Every like big name stand-up comic didn't have a show. Bill Burr had one.
Monday morning podcast.
But even before that, he had one.
Oh, did he?
Where he did other shit. I think it was Bill Burr.
Yeah.
But it like went away. Like he just like tried and he's like, I don't fucking get this. Fuck this.
Right.
And like gave up on it and then came back around. But I think it was Bill Burr. But anyway, it was just like, it was the Wild West. So like a dude like me.
People stabbing in the dark.
Yeah, it was like a dude like me. Like you find out these little tricks to trick the fucking algorithm, and we weren't even calling it back then.
Yeah.
But it was like, how do you fucking tune the search?
SEO?
It was SEO before that was a fucking, people started calling it that. It was like, okay, so I want to get my name up to the top of the list as people are growing. But like even still, there was like under 1,000 podcasts.
Right.
So you were like, well, if I put an underscore in front of my name, it bumps me up in the list.
That's
because
crazy.
So I just started doing that.
But it was visceral. You could see it happen.
You could see it bump like crazy, and you're like, okay. And then you change a little thing in the title, and then you put a period at the beginning of the title after the underscore stopped working or the dash.
Yeah.
Like you fucked with it until you kept getting listeners and more listeners and more listeners, and it was like, bro, wildly popular.
Yeah.
Like before it came, but the real entertainment industry kind of figured
the numbers
it out.
at the time were
So since that happened, we took a fucking massive nosedive because there were just a fucking bunch of nobodies. You know what I mean?
It's a crazy wave that this thing has taken over the past 20 years.
Yeah. But I never stopped.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Consistency.
Well, I feel like that was a shot at me last week on your show.
No, why?
Because we're like the most inconsistent podcast in the world right now.
You are who I learned that word from, dude.
I know,
Please
but I don't live
down.
that shit anymore.
It's the opposite. No, dude, but
that was my thing. That was my thing.
But there's reasons. Yeah. Life happens and shit. You know?
A fucking 45-year-old man.
Yeah, but you know, fucking for real, you are the one that taught me that without ever saying that out loud.
But that's the one thing I figured out with the iTunes, their algorithm and shit like that, is you had to be consistent.
Yeah.
And you had to do it on a specific day.
It sounds corny, but you like become part of someone's schedule. They look for that 100%. Episode if you say you drop it on Wednesdays as you did. And yeah, dude, it fucking works. It's just that's the part of the formula.
And that's what I figured out in those early days. I was working at a temp agency, and they put me at the county records department. Yeah. Right? And it was a fucking county job, and there's too many people.
So you're accessing files for people that request
physical files.
Oh, physical.
It was a big warehouse full of paper.
Yeah. What kind of records?
You get sometimes it's the courthouse would request records.
Yeah.
And it wasn't public shit. Oh, you could publicly, I guess, go to the records office in the courthouse.
But I couldn't walk in there and
couldn't walk into where I was. Yeah. You could walk into the courthouse and say, I want my parents'
go through the
marriage certificate from 1981, and they'd go like write it on a fucking legit card and like give it to us, and we'd be like, okay, see you tomorrow with this fucking divorce decree or marriage certificate or will. Wow.
Before databases and before,
so we'd get them back and we'd like split up the cards to all the dudes that worked there. Yeah, because it was all dudes. Yeah, and then we'd go fucking pull the files and put them in a bin. And the next morning, we'd take the fucking minivan back over and we'd fucking drop those off and get the new cards.
That's insane, dude.
And we'd pick up the ones that were coming back.
Flow of information.
Right. Yeah. And so there was a lot of downtime. Yeah. And it was like, warehouse racking, the like blue and yellow racking. Yeah, yeah. Well, like the dudes that worked there, we'd like figure out like an empty area of shelving. Yeah. And we'd create like a little desk for us. We didn't have desks, like we were just fucking pulling files, but we needed somewhere to sit because there wasn't enough work, right? But they still paid us because it was county, it was government. So like I set up a little desk in one corner of the building, and like I'd record the podcast the night before, and then I'd bring in my Pro Tools box. Hell yeah. It was before I had the rack mount. It was the little M box.
The blue guy.
Yeah. And I'd bring that in and I'd come in and I'd edit the podcast while I waited for the dude to come back in the minivan with the cards.
Nothing else to do.
And then I'd upload it, and I'd bring my laptop and all that shit in. And the fucking manager was cool. In hindsight, he was my age. Like, I was like, this fucking old guy doesn't give a shit. He's my age. He's fucking my age that I am now.
Yeah.
And he was just like, yeah, do whatever you got to do. Just like, whatever. Just
make sure you do. Yeah.
So that's what it was in the beginning.
And it was you solo at first? Was that only for the first episode? The mysterious.
It was fucking terrible. Yeah. It was bad. It was tough, man. And right? Doing solo episodes are hard. Dude.
Fuck yeah. Yeah. But like you do 5-10 before you're even like worth talking to, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but like
I've fooled a lot of comics on this show.
But back then you didn't have the time to like go like I'll do 5 or 6 and figure it out, and then I'll build an audience. Right. It was just like you need that audience now to keep, and that's partially maybe my ego.
Yeah,
right. I was like,
you have to have something to put something out there, and that's not any reason for criticism.
So like episodes 2 through maybe 4 or 5 were with my neighbor, who, if you listen to the Mediocre Show from the past 2 episodes, were with her.
She returned, Robin. Robin. Yeah.
Her husband, her current husband, is now the co-host on the Mediocre. It's all fucking circles. It all comes in fucking circles. But yeah, so they did a couple episodes with me, and then my friend Taylor in Portland. We did it remotely for a long time with like.
And how did that come about with him? Like how did you?
So I know him from a car club that I've been a part of for years. Like I have friends out in Portland. VW shit. Yeah. And I still talk to him to this day. He's a fucking great dude. But so I was like, hey man, like because he and I talked all the time. We were friends. I was like, I think you'd be fucking great at this. And he's like, a what cast? And I'm like, all right, let's do this. And then so he started doing it, and it was fucking great. And we were in Maxim magazine for being on the podcast. We had a show on Sirius.
Yeah, you went
one show on Sirius, which did not pan out.
You shared a taxi with the guitarist from Mastodon, right?
Yeah, he fucking
shorted you.
Yeah, he owes me cab fare.
Hey, come on, Brent Hines.
From 2006.
You guys rule, but pay up.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's how it all started, and here I am, fucking nearly 20 years later.
Yeah. And how did the Maxim magazine article come about?
So I was doing a podcast, and podcasts.
How long had you
big.
Been doing it at that point?
It was 2006, man. Not even a year.
Like yeah.
And I had a friend who was an editor for Maxim magazine. He's a writer and an editor, and he's like, they're telling me they want to do an article on podcasts.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody that has a podcast, and he called me, and it was friends of friends that went to Syracuse University together, and I was, I've known him for years. He came visit me in Florida, so it's like a pretty good friend. Like I don't hang out with him all that often, but he was just like, hey man, I don't know anybody that does a podcast but you. Like, would you be interviewed for this article? I was like, fuck yeah, dude. Yeah. We're gonna blow up. We're gonna blow. It didn't really translate.
Dude, it's something.
If that happened in 2014,
I've never been in Maxim magazine.
Yeah, I still have the issue if you ever want to see it. It's if that had happened.
No, I've read it somehow. It used to be on the website, or
it was on. Yeah, there's clips of it. But if like that had happened maybe 8 years later, 10 years later, that might have been enough of a boost to fucking help us. Yeah. And that's how the Sirius thing came about. We were in the article. They had a Maxim channel on Sirius, and they were looking for people and called us and said, "Do you want to try out for this?" And we're like, "Yeah." And we tried out, and they're like, "You're not the ones." Got it. All right. It was like fucking punk rock. It was the wrong. The wrong
fucking
crowd.
Yeah, that's all right.
A lot of long haul truckers at the time calling in, jerking off while they drive. But it was cool, man. It was like you say pioneer. I don't think pioneer, but it was like very like
you were on the bleeding edge.
We set a lot of the precedents for a lot of shows going forward.
For sure.
I'm not taking credit for shit.
No,
but
dude,
I'm just saying, like
I'm giving you flowers like a motherfucker. Yeah.
I think we were one of the first that took that genre that took our production seriously and tried to do it like a radio show. And like I sent demos to radio stations. Like I thought I was going to work in radio. Dude. Right. I thought this was a path to radio for me.
Like jumping. Yeah.
It was not.
Yeah.
Which would have been fucking cool, but like now with the fucking radio exploding, probably was better off.
I think it worked out. Yeah.
But there was time where I paid bills on it. Dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not that way anymore. But like we had advertisers.
And you were like, you kind of also like had a proto Patreon, the Scorpions of Support, which is like a monthly subscription. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
But that fucking predates Patreon by how long, dude?
Yeah. Many years.
Yeah.
And that was also like, that was another like credit where credit's due. Like Nobody Likes Onions and us did that at the same time. Like they might have beat me to it.
Yeah.
But like we were both trying to figure out a way to like at least pay for the.
Yeah.
So it wasn't out of pocket.
Were you? So at that time, Libsyn, I'm sure didn't.
No, they were. We were like
Libsyn
the
existed
fourth
then?
show on Libsyn.
No fucking way.
Like third or fourth show. Like they were the big shows, the Dawn and Drews and the Curry.
So they were really the first like.
They were the
help you out hosting site, like handle
big
your feed. And
so we had my friend who's a hacker from Alaska, like handled our website,
which is an amazing story, dude.
Oh, that's a good one.
Like legit hacker, like caught by the government, helped the government situation.
Well, forced into helping the government.
Yes,
that's wild. That's a wild.
The in-between.
Travis, that dude,
fucking
Genocide 2600 is his name. Yeah. So he doesn't do that stuff anymore. But
sure, but
he's back in Alaska.
Crazy interesting.
But yeah, so he hosted our website. And then like our feed, and like back then it was before Libsyn had the idea to like help people with their feed.
Right.
So it was just like
which is genius.
Here we have this, we have hosting, and it's faster because it's tailored for audio, tailored for long audio, tailored for this. So like they got in there early and went like, here's how we can help you, but they never thought of the feed thing until like years later.
Yeah.
I was already so in deep with hand coding my shit. That's what I still do.
Yeah.
Because it's like, that's just...
Still to this day.
So I
that's
still
amazing,
do it that
dude.
way.
That's crazy.
There's an app that like, it bundles it for you.
Yeah.
But I'm still hand coding it.
Yeah.
And then, so I've since moved. We had a lot of stability issues with his servers, and like, he's not really into
being
the
remote
hosting.
and whatnot.
Well, not the remote part, but it was like, he had, like in the beginning, like our servers were in his closet, in his bedroom. In his like spare bedroom.
Yeah.
Like server racks and shit.
Yeah.
And then he moved it to a co-location, and then he moved it. So it was still in a co-location, but he was not in Portland anymore. Servers are still in Portland. He's now in Alaska. We started having hardware
like
issues.
Like off the grid Alaska too, right?
Yeah. I mean, he's somewhat near, a couple hours from Homer.
Okay.
But he's not doing as much of the computer shit as he used to. Like he does like emergency services in like the bush in Alaska.
Got
so
it.
he didn't have the
it's
time
not
really.
His primary.
Yeah. So he was just like, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
And I was like, I can either pay you, and he's like, I can't guarantee the uptime.
Yeah.
And I was like, and then Robin, who Pat's wife was just like, you just let me host it, because she's been designing our website, or at least like maintaining it for 8 years now, 10 years now.
And she was your upstairs roommate,
neighbor.
Upstairs.
Yeah.
That's not how that works. Upstairs roommate.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like it. We hung out a lot, so it was kind of like that. We just had different doors.
She's great people, by the way.
Yeah.
And we've talked at length,
but yeah. So then, she took the hosting back, and so then I still do it.
And then it goes to Libsyn.
All Libsyn does for us is host the MP3.
I gotcha.
So I upload the MP3 and I get
the index, or like the actual where it's pulling the file.
Yeah.
The RSS feed is yours.
The RSS feed is just mine that I hand code. Yeah. So it's like an XML file on the desktop of my computer that I update every week or whenever I do the show.
Yeah.
And then I upload that to the server and overwrite the last one.
Right. That's amazing.
Because I can't.
Yeah. No,
we talked earlier about like people
that
don't get change real well.
Yeah.
I don't deal with change in podcasting very well. Mm-hmm. Like
if you have the same workflow for years and years, literally, we're going on a decade, dude, right?
Two.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm so
yeah,
sorry.
It'll be the second.
Double that.
So we're like 900 and something episodes at this point.
Yeah. Because you don't do 4 a week because you work.
Right. But we used to. I mean, there was a time that we did three episodes. And it was when I was single and I didn't have kids, right?
Yeah.
And Taylor and I would do 3 episodes a week.
Mm-hmm.
And then we moved to doing 2 a week, and then we were doing 1, but it was live. Like we started live streaming this shit.
Yeah, did that for a number of years.
Did that for a long time, and like
a number of different formats and stuff. There was Arecibo, Radio, Labia.
Arecibo, Labia. I've even
Cringe Humor.
Cringe Humor was a big one. And
which
that's where I got set up with a lot of comics. Yeah,
you got to talk to Robert Kelly, Bobby Kelly,
Dave Attell.
Yo, he's playing Soul Joel's next month. We should go.
South Philly Paul will probably be there.
Hell yeah.
I haven't talked to that dude in a long time. But
me neither.
But he always goes and sees
another
Dave
podcaster for those listeners.
But yeah, it was, dude. It's been fun.
Yeah.
It's been, and like I said, consistency is tough right now.
But dude, you taught me it. It's for real. Like seriously. And And there's reasons.
I used to be a fucking tyrant with it, though, if I recall.
No. That's the only way to be. When there's other people in tow.
And you were a co-host for a while?
I was going to say, thank you for the segue. You've had a rotating cast of co-hosts over the years.
Yeah.
And it's slightly changed the flavor in different great ways. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's drastically changed the flavor every time.
Every time. I kind of came in I actually wasn't a hard co-host change. I was kind of well, let's start chronologically. You had Taylor, as you talked about.
Yeah. Then he left to go on tour with a band called 36 Crazy Fists.
Yeah.
Who went on tour band, with... who the fuck did they go on tour with? Nazi Punk's Fuck Off Band. Who was that? At any rate.
You know the one.
And I can't... big fucking metal band.
Yeah.
Toured with Ozzy and shit like that. So he was hey, I'm going to go do this tour thing.
Yeah.
Sorry about your show.
I won't be able to talk boners. Yeah.
So I enlisted my longtime best friend, since
sixth grade,
first day of sixth grade.
Yeah.
We've been, and I hiked
Kitten
with him.
Sparks.
Yeah.
Mad Kitten Sparks.
Family.
Yeah.
So we brought him in, but we did this whole gig. I'm sorry. That was at the end of
Matt's tenure. Yeah. Yeah.
So Matt and I was a very different dynamic, right? Me and Taylor have known each other as adults.
Right.
I've known Matt my whole fucking life.
So you know each other's fucking
yeah.
Yeah.
And that dude can play a character.
He's fucking the best heel. He's the best.
Oh, dude.
The best.
I mean, just ripped people apart.
Your
listeners.
chemistry. This is when I found you. But one of the first speaking of finding Apple Podcasts, you guys were one of the first I found because I saw that it was in Philly. I'm like, well, hell yeah, I'm going to check it out. And the chemistry you guys had, you can tell, it reads that you have history. Both of you are naturally funny.
He's quick.
He's quick, but you have this dry wit about you that is the motherfucker. And there's nothing. Together it was great. It was fucking great.
I mean, that's how we are in real life too.
Yeah,
I mean, he's less of a heel, but
no, yeah, he's a fucking angel, dude. He does God's work.
But so he had a job that he couldn't. And
if God's work means having to have a pistol on you because your job may kill you, but
so he had a job that was high level, let's say.
Yeah.
Well, at the beginning of the show, it was not.
Yeah.
It was not high level, but then it got to a point where it's this could jeopardize my career.
I can't talk shit. On the internet.
As the as the internet got more connected and people could find people more,
as coworkers may have started listening.
And it didn't happen with him. Still to this day, I don't think he's had any coworkers listen.
But he played it smart for his life and family and career.
And I didn't begrudge him that in any way.
You can't.
But
if that's your boy, you got to respect.
Yeah. So we were
but it was just such a perfect moment of and it was around 2008 when the Phillies were doing well.
Yeah.
I mean, that was part of that period. So I'm sure you guys
remember when it happened. I don't remember the dates anymore.
I don't know.
But
I remember I was listening to at least in that period.
And that was a fun. We knew that we couldn't just go Matt has a.
Yeah, you couldn't ride quietly into the
job.
Night.
You can't do this anymore. We could have, but
And there was a whole heel backstory for his job. Yeah. Also, we won't touch on it.
But that was it maybe the height of the popularity of the show in that era. So it started with Taylor. It was very popular because there was so many less options, and then it sort of dipped a little bit, but then it shot back up during his era. So I feel like the tail end of Taylor, because Matt was only there for a couple years.
2. Yeah.
So that era was the most popular of the show.
Yeah.
And so we had live callers, we had voicemail, we had all that shit.
Yeah.
But we were all right, let's.
And that's another thing I wanted to give you flowers for, but talk to you about. You purposefully built a community of super in touch with the listeners, and it led to things we'll get to later, like the live shit, and
well, that was a kind of
of if I look around at so many podcasts, I've been deep in it for a number of years and
decades,
and you connect with people like no one, like your fans are like, have dreams about you, dog.
Yeah.
It's on Facebook.
Weird
Look it
sex
up.
dreams and shit.
No, straight up and down. No.
I know. Just recently. But so
yeah.
so here's where that came from. If I can wax my own car for a minute.
That's why. Yeah.
And I don't know that your stand-up friends are gonna give a shit about this.
No,
but,
this is fucking. If you're interested in podcasts, you check this out.
So the way that came about is like, I come from the punk rock community, right? And it's very much in Philly and suburban Philadelphia. It's very much a tight community, and you feel like you're part of something, right? And that was always a big deal to me. Is like, I found that in high school when I didn't have a lot of like, I didn't play sports anymore by the time I got in high school because weed was pretty cool. Yeah, and then so like I skated and I played punk rock bands and like did that stuff, and I needed a community to feel a part of. Yeah, and I knew that was going to translate. Like, that there are people out here that want
everybody.
There's people out in the fucking.
It's a human connection that everyone seeks.
Liberty, Kentucky. I don't know what the fuck Liberty, Kentucky is, right? Yeah. But there's a kid in Liberty, Kentucky who's in fucking middle school, right? Yeah. Justin.
Yeah. Sure.
The hip. What do you call it? Mediocre hippie. Yeah. And he was like so badly misunderstood in his community and his family and his shit. So then all I did was put a name to it, dude. Yeah. Right? I was just like, let's just give him a name and something to connect to, because I needed that in high school. Yeah. And the way I found it was punk rock. But like, maybe they don't, maybe fucking Liberty, Kentucky doesn't have punk rock shows. Yeah. I was lucky that I lived in suburban Philadelphia where there were punk rock shows. Yeah. And then so like, I kind of just like made it a community and like people fucking helping out
before
other people
social
in the community.
Media. Yeah. This even predates like Facebook and not MySpace, but like, you know.
But and that came from Rick Emerson. Yeah. Who was like my radio hero, right? This guy, Portland. He started in Utah. I went to Portland. And he kind of it was the Emerson Army, right? Yeah. And I have a lot of listeners from that because I've had him on the show a bunch. But and like
you have his microphone. That's what you record with.
Yeah. And I aped his shit for years because like he was the punk rock kid. Mm-hmm. He was the like counterculture dude. Yeah. And like 10, 15 years older than me, but like radio career guy. And I went like, holy shit. Looked up to, he's doing a podcast on FM and AM radio. Mm-hmm. He's doing the same thing that I do. And like I reached out to him in email. He was super fucking nice, but he created this fucking thing. He got format flipped on a radio station he was on. Yeah. And his fucking listeners, the Emerson Army, did this like coffee cup campaign. And you can fucking Google it. Like it's a big, like a thing. Like they just started sending coffee cups and like not specific coffee cups, just like number one dad fucking coffee cups to the radio station to just go like, we want him back. Right. Like you're fucking up and we want him back. And then like he ended up getting another fucking job out of it.
That's amazing.
Because he built a community and made people feel accepted.
They want you back, so it's going to pay dividends later.
And you've been listening to podcasts for years. Yeah. I'm sure that there are podcasts that you listen to that you feel emotionally connected to and part of their life.
For sure. 100%.
You've never talked to them. Yeah. Maybe.
No. And maybe never will. Probably
and maybe never will. You don't fucking need to, right?
I don't need to. Yeah.
But like you feel like such a part of their life and like a friend, and you listen and you put it in the earbuds and it's very personal. Yeah. So then it just like, it compounded. It
becomes part of your life schedule, whatever, routine.
So we gave him a name, the Mediocre Nation, and we gave him a way to contact the show via voicemail,
P.O.
live
box,
show, P.O. box.
Send you goodies.
I still do that. Nothing comes. It's very light work in the P.O. box, but I keep paying for it. But like, and gave him a way to contact other people. Like we had forums. Yeah. Back before social media was a big thing. Like that's the fucking crazy thing. And you have to think about this when this all started.
You created it without the infrastructure.
I couldn't get on Facebook because Facebook was only for college kids and I wasn't in college.
Yeah.
So like when we started, that wasn't there. Yeah. There was MySpace. Yeah. But like that wasn't really, that didn't really work for this.
It wasn't going to boost the numbers building a thing on there. There wasn't really the community building. It was more P2P.
Right. It wasn't for that.
Yeah,
back then,
it wasn't
right?
for groups of people.
So we had a forum, like old school forums. Like, here's where you can share your dick pics and your fucking recipes or like whatever the fuck you want, right?
And then when you started doing the live podcast, like you would simulcast a podcast recording and stream it. But you would have a chat running too.
Oh yeah, the chat was big.
Yeah,
and people could
for
connect.
Years, even when I was a co-host. We'll get to that. But
yeah. So anyway, we knew that was a big thing.
Yeah,
we got sidetracked. So we had to do something to get rid of Matt. And it was because of
the best. How did this? Please,
because of Rick Emerson, because I listened to it and I was very deeply interested in the behind the scenes working of radio.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to do it. Like I wanted to work at a radio station. I wanted to be an on-air host. So like I get very obsessed with things and like look into try to figure things out and how they work and shit. And so Rick was, he talked about radio consultants. Like he talked about on his show, like, when he worked at a former station, they brought in consultants to say, what was working and what wasn't working. And then things got changed and he got laid off from radio stations because of fucking consultants before.
Yeah.
So are we good?
Oh, we're solid.
Oh, all right.
Sorry.
You looked over and you panicked.
Yeah, it's my job.
Sorry, dude.
I just have to give it the side. Yeah, no.
So I go like, I was like, all right, well,
it's my job.
Let's. It is, and you know what's fucked up is I'm looking at it like I fucked something up, right?
Not at all.
And I'm like, what am I supposed to be doing? Because I'm not used to.
I was supposed
just
to do
talking.
that seamlessly. Yeah. But you're thinking about it.
I'm thinking about it because I don't know how to do it otherwise.
Because you're good at it.
So, but I'm supposed to not say it. So I'm listening to him talk about consultants and shit. So I'm like, all right, we can do this. I call this dude I know from high school who's got like a very like he can act for real. Like he's not an actor, but like he can pull it off. And I go, all right, here's the setup. And it was a guy we went to high school with. I go, Matt's got to leave the show, but we're gonna fuck around.
Did you all meet up and sit down and like?
We called him, or maybe he came over and had a beer or whatever, and we talked about it. And I was just like,
I'm just curious as to what the process was made. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I go like, all right, so here's a thing in radio. They have a consultant comes in and tells like how to streamline, and they like kind of look at numbers
kinda
and they
like
figure
analytics,
out this guy doesn't work for your people, that he's not polling well, fucking get rid of him, bring in somebody else.
Sure.
So it's like, that's the concept. You're the consultant. You're going to sit in on a show, which by the way would never happen, right? In radio
or a podcast,
especially a podcast
or on a live radio.
But the way I pitched it is like, we have interest from radio stations. So they suggested we bring in a radio consultant to kind of give us.
We'll do it live.
Right. So we'll do. So like, what better than to just do like we aren't traditional radio? Just fucking bring him on.
You can do what you want.
Let him sit here and watch it happen.
Right.
And so he came in, like he played it fucking
great.
well, dude.
And you played it out over. It was
3 or 4 episodes.
Yeah, you fucking rode that horse.
Yeah. And so we had
in a good way. Yeah.
So we had him come in and like, he'd do the whole thing. Like
he was legit.
Like
dude.
Matt would start yelling at a caller, and he'd be
truly
like,
question his like legitimacy, even though I knew my better judgment. But
because how ridiculous it was, like the most ridiculous shit.
Couldn't stop listening.
But we fucking sold it like it was like real, like we're trying to be on the radio.
And you didn't break. I mean, could have edited it.
Oh, I edited the shit out of it because we broke a bunch. But
it came off seamlessly.
Yeah, and so basically a couple episodes later, and like we played it off like for a few to like build tension and shit.
Yeah, dude.
And then we had him come back and give his report live, which by the way would never happen.
Right.
Like, he would never have his voice on the show. Period.
This is backroom shit.
Yeah, like you would
production.
Never.
Yeah.
So like
production meetings.
So we brought him. Yeah, he so came in, and then we're like, all right, let's get the report, and like his report was Matt's got to go.
Yeah.
And like the whole setup was like, whatever he says, we're gonna do because it's the best for the show. Okay, everybody agree? Wink. Everybody okay? Everybody. And like I thought it was like so obvious that it was bullshit that there's no way anyone would believe it.
It was good. It was good.
Hook, line, all
this
you
was before we
motherfuckers.
Connected. So it was good. It was good.
We had a guy call in, and he read the report and was like, he's got to go, and Matt got all mad about it and fucking left, stormed out. He fucking walked into my living room and kept drinking beers, like, and I was fucking laughing my dick off.
I'll talk to you in 10 minutes. Yeah.
And Oh, it was fucking great. I think we did a gag when Matt came on too with Taylor and Taylor getting mad about him leaving. I think
there was a crossover episodes, right?
Yeah, but it was like all a farce also.
Yeah. But
yeah,
he's a fucking fantastic heel.
It was so good. I mean? And it was just like people fucking were mad, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, because of that personal connection.
Yeah. Did that catch you off guard?
150%.
Because what you were just trying to like
transition to the next dude.
You were just focused on the show, like literally.
Right. And but I didn't have a next dude at that point.
Right. This is before Mike even did like.
He was doing his show.
The awful show.
And I knew of him, and we did like crossover
Mike
shit
Pilot,
and stuff.
Should say for.
But like he didn't agree to it. I didn't even have that idea yet.
Yeah.
I was just like,
what was the gap?
There's like 6 or 7 episodes, I think.
Did you miss any weeks?
No, never.
I remember
I brought in single guests.
Did you do an open letter, quote unquote, open letter as a result of the hate?
So I'm getting to that.
Not hate, but like
oh no, the hate, dude. I will never listen to it again. You're a piece of shit. How could you do that to your best friend?
What,
dude? Maybe I still have the emails in my Gmail account.
That's insane.
But dude, it was like visceral. Like,
and it caught you off guard. I mean, it would catch me off guard.
I was like, what? Like it was legit. Like, you're an awful human being.
Oh my god!
That you would do this to your best friend because of the show. I will never listen. You're a fucking dickhead. Bonkers shit, dude. And I was like, and so I let it go for like a couple weeks, and I was just like, what the fuck, man? I did not expect that.
Yeah.
Like, this is a dumb joke.
Yeah, the whole thing. If you only knew.
Yeah, and I was like, it was hard on me, dude. Like, legit, like emotionally really fucking hard on me.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, maybe I just don't fucking do the show. Like, like what the
you
these
actually
people are
like
fucking pissed,
we're at a crossroads.
Dude. Yeah. So then I was like, no. So I wrote this, typed out this fucking open letter.
It was very good too. It made me like tear up. Yeah.
And I was just,
wait, was this 2000? Do you remember? 9?
I should have looked.
8, 9. It was before I started See You Next Tuesday.
Yeah.
Which was January 2010.
Yeah, so it's probably 8 or 9, I think.
Yeah.
If we started in 05, and Taylor was there for a few years and Matt was there for a few years.
He was there like
so that makes sense. It's like 8 or 9. Mm-hmm. Probably late 2008.
I was working at the Wegmans.
Yeah, baking some bread.
Baking some bread.
So I wrote this open letter. It was like, hey, dickheads. Like, this was like, I would never fucking do that to my best friend. Like, like, he's still my best friend. Like,
absolutely.
It was a fucking gag. Like, he had to leave.
Yeah.
And so we just thought we'd do some performance art shit. Yeah. And like, there it is. And like, this is my promise to you.
It was
like,
great, dude.
I'm going to keep doing this show.
I'm going to say that.
Yeah. and like, my whole thing was like, as long as this show continues to be fun, I will continue to do the show.
Yeah.
This last 2 weeks has not been fun for me. Just so you know.
Yeah, right.
But we'll move forward and we'll keep going. And like, we had voicemails, like the one dude was like, "Is this a ruse?"
Is this
we used as a sample for years.
Painted black.
Still follow that dude on Instagram. He's great.
Is this a ruse? Yeah.
But so that was fun. That was cool. And then we did like in betweener episodes.
I was gonna say, what did you do after that? Like,
I had like
what did you?
A half dozen, maybe a dozen. No, not a dozen. Maybe a half dozen or 10 episodes of like guest hosts. Where people would come in. Travis came. That was when Travis from Alaska came in. I was trying to think
what you did in the interim. And then Mike Pilot was one of those folks.
Mike Pilot was one of those folks. And but by the way, like, I had already asked him before he did his one, but he couldn't get it going right away.
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, bring you in as a guest. And like, although, because I can't stop doing like scripted gags.
Yeah.
I was just like, we'll try. Like, I'm trying people out.
Yeah.
I wasn't. Like, he had already said he was going to do it.
Yeah.
And so that worked, and then that brought us into the next era of the show. And
and then that leads into like when we met.
Right, my ex-wife was on the show. That was such a bad idea.
She was. Yeah.
Wife at the time, I should say.
The wife at the time was there.
She
was present.
Yeah. So we met. You were doing See You Next Tuesday, which I was a fucking huge fan of.
Yeah, you guys like blew me blew me away. You guys blew me. No. No, you guys like promoted my shit and helped me out a lot. Like, just being from nowhere, it just like
not
I don't
from
know.
Nowhere. You were local, right? Again, think back to the punk rock shit.
Yeah, but it could
you promote the people that are local and that you believe in.
That's true.
That's what we were.
That's why I started listening to you, because of your logo.
Right, and that's what we did, and
we had a rapport. We met up in Philly, me and my ex and your ex, one night on a lark, and at the Wishing Well.
Oh, at my friend's bar. Yeah,
not like an event. It was just us, and that's when we first met. And then
and I was DJing.
You were DJing at the Khyber
at the time.
The Khyber, yeah,
legendary punk rock club,
spinning vinyls, yeah, dude.
But
upstairs at the Khyber, right?
Yeah,
upstairs.
Yeah,
had to be upstairs.
Yeah, it was Sunday nights.
Had to be upstairs.
Sunday nights.
I've been there.
Sunday nights, $20, all you could drink.
Dude, that was the shit. I remember going. I never saw you. I mean, I never was there when you were, but
it was like it was industry night, so it was like waiters and chefs and bartenders.
Exactly.
And shit. Yeah. So that was a wild time too. And I got that because of the show.
Yeah.
That's
really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, because there was an article in the Philly City papers, like podcaster, radio host, now DJing at the fucking Khyber.
It was a real slow roll of like media about podcasts. But you happened to catch the first few
waves of it. Yeah. So then Mike came in, and then we brought you in.
Yeah. Yeah. After I got out of jail, I started as like a fourth.
No, before you went.
No, yeah, it was before.
Because you did a couple episodes before you went, and then one of still my favorite segments on the show was reading your letters from prison.
Yes,
and writing you back letters.
Yeah, we were writing back and forth in prison. I forgot all about that.
Yeah, and I still have them, dude, in my box of studio stuff. I'll show them to you.
Oh my god,
I got your prison letters.
I gotta see that sometime.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
talking about your celly and the Quran. And
oh my god, dude, it's the Quran. Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah, and then you were back the week you got out.
Yeah.
Oh no!
I called in. I was on house arrest, but as soon as I was physically allowed to come over your house,
it was when my kids were when my one son was
Brock was a
little dude. Because I have a picture of you when the week you got back, with him sitting on your lap in a Harley Davidson onesie.
Hell yeah!
That someone gave us.
We right. I know exactly. Yeah. Could be because I had the ankle bracelet on, but I could go like 10 feet outside onto my patio.
Yeah. It was so good to see you though.
Yeah. No, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah, I still got it. It's literally one of my favorite segments we've ever done. Is like, and by the way, I'm still pissed we never did the idea that we had of you
the cooking, the Chi-Chi
prison cooking show, which is now Chi-Chi. A fucking thing.
I know. We had it. I could have made Chi-Chi.
I
could have been a contender.
We could have been.
I could have had a YouTube channel.
I think you should still probably fucking do it.
Yeah,
but
I still know the arts of the Chi-Chi. That's so funny.
Yeah.
So that was 2012, 13-ish. And then when I was allowed to leave my premises, it
was probably 6 months later. They got a Wawa gift card when you graduated. $5 Wawa gift card.
That is fucking truth.
I know.
Thank you, Chester County Court.
It's your
I can't drive for 5 years, but you gave me a Wawa gift card. Yeah. So I was a co-host, fourth co-host, for a minute, and then it became you, me, and the ex.
Yeah.
For I don't know. I think my time was about 2 years-ish too.
Yeah. I think Frank at this point is now the longest running co-host.
Yeah. Which it doesn't seem like it's a time. I mean, COVID math. You have to subtract those 3 years. But like, that's wild. Yeah, and there was a little overlap. Like we did a few shows at lunch. Because we all worked together.
Yeah.
at the time, Frank, his co-host, and we did a couple episodes together.
Yeah, I don't know why it stopped. I don't know why it stopped. What happened?
I don't know. It was my depression, I think. My depression and anxiety.
Maybe that's...
And then crippling panic attacks. Yeah.
But yeah, so now
100%.
We got Frank.
That's definitely what it was.
So it was me and Frank for a little while, and then we brought in our friend Pat,
who's Robin. Just to circle back,
circle. Robin's husband now. Who
I was gonna say Robin's son.
Robin Robin's kid is now like 16 or something.
And he'll be
15.
the next co-host.
Maybe they will. So then we brought him in, and like Pat is one of the most fascinating dudes to me.
He won't tell you, but he is
the driest sense of
humor
in the fucking world.
Dude, he's a great hang. at your wife's birthday thing last year. Me and him sat like across from each other. He bought me a drink. We talked for, I mean, him, Robin, my wife, and I talked for a minute, but me and him, it's like a one-on-one you get is the best way to take in Pat.
Oh, 100%.
I love that too. 100. I love that dude, and I've only had like one
because
long,
of the
good
podcast connection to him.
Exactly,
right? You know about
it.
Him
loops back
before.
around. It's that punk rock community.
Yeah,
thing.
and he's got a fucked up finger, and it's fucking great.
Yeah,
he literally put his finger through a fucking table saw.
Yeah.
But and now he's
thank you for your service, Pat. He's now
he's a fucking
U.S.
postman.
postal worker.
Oh, it's the best.
Yeah.
I have this romantic love of that job.
Dude,
like in another world, I should have been a fucking postal carrier.
Like the Bermuda,
the postal
downstairs.
shorty shorts.
Yeah. The Bermuda shit. Yeah, whatever that is. You know what I mean?
Shorts.
Yeah. Just hopping over white fences, like dodging dogs, like
man,
like 1950s America.
But so that's where, and then COVID kind of fucked that up. He used to drive. He did merchandising for retail stores.
Yeah.
So he would make his schedule so he was in the Westchester area on a specific day, which might have been Wednesdays or Thursdays, and we would do it at lunchtime from work.
So he would
cruise into my house. We'd do a podcast, and then we'd all finish our work days.
Yeah.
And then COVID happened, and then we started doing it over Zoom.
Yeah.
Which was a big, like, I'm not going to say it was a big transition for me because in the early days with Taylor, we did it via Skype.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, not video chat. It was just audio.
No, yeah.
But then, like, for so many years, like 12 years of doing it live and in person, then we went to doing it and I kind of just lost the steam, dude. Mm-hmm. I was just like, this is what I love, right? We're sitting in the same room.
Eyes looking each other in the eyes.
Having a real-ass conversation.
Yeah.
That's what I fucking love about it.
This is what I like. I don't want to do. Like, I could get bigger. Like, this is not.
Bigger guest
fuck
than
you.
Me,
I could get bigger. Yeah. No, I could get
100%.
Other people of on other levels than I am on.
Yeah.
But I would not want to. Like,
don't write that off, though.
No, I won't.
Because it's still a good medium. It's not going to be the same chemistry as this. Like,
it's not. But it could be something that cross promotes.
It's worth it. It's worth doing.
Yeah.
Don't make it your main thing if you can avoid it. But
I just like the connection. This. Like,
also,
and then the people I've been getting, like, fucking amazing. Like,
Naeem is so good.
Naeem's so good. And how good is Callahan too?
Yeah. I listened to that one earlier. No, last week.
Yeah.
I was fucking loving it.
That
I'm loving what A1 is about.
I'm not stroking
in
that.
A big. I am though. I'm fucking loving it. But yeah. So like the pandemic changed it, right? Yeah. And now we do it still on Zoom because like we fell into that, right? And those dudes live far away. And
you all have families.
Yeah.
Frank's got the college age kid.
Pat's got kids in high school and middle school.
Yeah.
And then I've got
the young
elementary and below. So it's just like it's tough.
Scheduling wise to physically
it's
do
impossible to schedule anymore, dude.
Yeah.
Like we and our
even
schedule
at night.
Our schedule now is like, I text them on Wednesday, I go, you guys want to do a show tomorrow?
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, yeah, we'll see how. Like, yes, tentatively, yes. And then it'll hit, Pat's a postal worker. And if it's fucking really hot or really shitty out, like he's going to be fucking tired.
Yeah.
And if we can't start until 9 o'clock when all the kids go to bed.
What's and as like, if I was in his shoes, like I would want to be give as most as I could. After that day,
at least almost 100.
Yeah, exactly. I was trying to avoid that.
I know you were.
It's so like I have to dance around it because I say that shit so much in life.
Yeah, but funny. It's tough. Like
trying not to become a cliche.
He wants to give his best.
And how much juice do you have left in the tank after that?
Right, and then Frank had to wake up early for
his
thing
job,
for,
and his
for
job
an
is
event,
quite taxing.
Which normally it's not a big deal.
Frank.
Like normally it's not a big deal if it's just a regular week, but he was going to an event. So he had to leave at like 6 in the morning to get it. So he was like,
and he ain't leaving until 6 in the morning.
He is right. Yeah. So it was just like, and I was like, it's okay. And I'm very guilty of like, let's do it Thursday. And then Thursday comes and like emotionally, I don't have it. Guys.
I hear you, dude.
And I hit it. And it's taken me almost 20 years of podcasting to go like, if I'm not feeling it, I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
because for years I would just muscle through because of that consistency thing, that like heavy weight that I put on myself going like, no, you have to do it on Wednesday night and it has to be uploaded by Thursday morning. Mm-hmm. That is the deal.
That's what we do.
That's what I do.
It's the whole point of doing it. Yeah.
Right. And then it got to the point.
But I feel like there is a balance at the end of the day. It depends what the situation is, what you're going for. I'm going for the gusto here. I'm going to be trying to do everything I can. You have now you have a family, like you have all this other shit in rotation, 1,000 balls in the air.
Yeah. And a higher level job than I did.
And a great job. Yeah.
So it's like,
and it's in a a
lot of spreadsheets now.
It's in a media. Yeah. It's in something you're like, at least, you're fucking intuitive and great at to begin with, but something that you sought out doing.
Right. And I think
without pay.
I think the podcast pushed me towards this
type of work,
and made me qualified for it. Like it wasn't on it was not on my resume, by the way, because I didn't want people finding the fart and dick show.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
But they found it anyway because of my email address.
But what is unsaid is that the technical abilities do translate to a corporate situation.
For sure.
In whatever facet that may be.
But I had during so many people during COVID, like, my anxiety and depression skyrocketed and peaked. Yeah. And I had a hard time. I'm not a dude that handled the being home all the time, 100% of the time. Like I found out that I'm a dude that likes to go to the office.
Yeah.
And be around
people. You need
people,
the connection, yeah.
Where a lot of people aren't. There's people I work with.
It took me a long time to learn that I'm the guy that needs the connection, and that's my problem. That the isolation is not... It's my tendency, but it's not what I need.
It's probably not a positive thing.
Not at all. I thrive when I fucking go out and talk to people, whatever. Right.
That's why comedy is great for you.
Yeah. Yeah. It makes the world of difference. Yeah. You know what I mean? So.
And I've always wanted to do stand up, by the way.
You could, dude. You'd be solid. You and Matt. Dude, I swear to God.
We can get a mic together in Westchester.
Have you written jokes?
Nah, not really.
We do. We were talking about that earlier. We should get a room. Eventually, when I get some shit handled with other stuff, I would like to.
Strengths I have, Troy. This is my audition, my interview with you. Okay. I'm really good at scheduling and booking.
You are.
And dealing with venues and shit like that, because I did it for fucking years with bands and shit like that.
Yeah.
I want to help you do that because I want a fucking mic in Westchester.
Westchester needs comedy. The kids there's a college right there. There's fucking alcoholics right there. Yeah. The bar will be paid.
Might be laying on the ground outside.
The servers will be tipped.
Yeah.
Fucking.
We're gonna put it together. I'm telling you, we'll work together. I don't mean to glom onto your shit. I'm not the comedy guy. No. You're the comedy guy.
No.
I'm the
Fuck
scheduling
that. You do
guy.
comedy.
I don't know.
Come on, stop it.
I did, and I will say this, and I don't know how much I've talked about this on our show.
Do it.
Remember the Kevin Smith show about his podcast?
Yeah.
That was my concept, right?
Was it?
That was my concept that my buddy Kabir, who's a director in Los Angeles, Kabir. We worked up a pilot and a pitch. We never shot the pilot. We worked up the pitch. So you
did a spec?
To networks, spec scripts, outlines, the fucking
whole
deal.
When was this?
Before the Kevin Smith show.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Before.
I don't remember what year. I don't even remember what era of the show.
You did, yeah.
Maybe it was in the Mike era of the show. I remember I had my motorcycle at the time, so it was post 2007. Maybe 2009, 2010.
Okay.
We specs, all this shit was done, and we submitted it to networks, and no one was interested. And then Kevin Smith's show started 6 months later.
Wow. And
which
much
was
love
our concept.
to Kevin Smith.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, we
both
go deep with Kevin Smith.
I love Kevin Smith. Yeah. And sure, why take a chance on two dorks from fucking Westchester or wherever we were, Delaware County at the time? Why
take this idea
and get us a good
do
name.
That, claw machine toy.
Get us someone that's doing a show that's successful.
Put it in the hands of a celebrity. Yeah.
So I'm not waxing my own car with that. That really was our fucking pitch. To the transition scenes and fucking everything.
Wow.
It was
the production notes.
And I don't know that that's what happened. They could have been simultaneously pitching the shit at the same time.
Thinking.
But it was alarmingly close to what we pitched. So,
well, shit. But
I watched every episode of that show, though.
Yeah, you watch it. Yeah. I followed my own script.
Yeah. I'm a fucking Kevin Smith fanboy, though.
No, he's the shit. He's the shit. But speaking of like live events,
yeah,
you were able to flip this shit into one that I was a part of, and it came up on a podcast recently. How did the whole Salt Lake City crossover? Obviously Geek Show, but like how did that connection? So like for the listener, I'm saying a lot with to my friend that we know.
Well, so that's I can trace it to one dude, and that's Most Jeff.
Yeah.
So he was in a band in Salt Lake, and he was friends with Shannon Barneson.
One of the hosts of the Geek Show,
and Jeff Weiss
now,
yeah. And Jeff Weiss, who was the initial big one was, he went, hey, I found this podcast out of Philly that you guys would love, to Shannon and to Jeff, and he went, you guys would love this shit. You guys should cross promote Geek Show and you guys. And Geek Show was massive.
Yeah.
At the time, like their main host is a morning radio guy.
Yeah.
So, and like one of the longest running morning radio shows in the country still.
Yeah. He's still on
was
there?
Kerry Jackson. Yeah,
Kerry
he's still
Jackson.
going. Yeah, it was Radio from Hell in Salt Lake City.
Still.
So we got promoted on Radio from Hell. We got promoted on Geek Show podcast, which was the juggernaut podcast.
Did you do like a promo commercial thing?
Yeah, we traded ads.
Kind of like what you did for me.
Yeah, we traded ads, and then they'd also talk about us, and we'd talk about them, try to make it organic.
Yeah, sure.
And then also like we wanted to have movie reviews, and we didn't have anyone to do movie reviews. I think actually the beginning we had some guys from Salt Lake did some movie reviews, some like younger dudes that were trying to get into radio.
Not Mike
or Jeff or Jimmy.
What the fuck did I say, Mike?
Mike or Jeff? Yeah,
I meant.
So then Jeff Weiss, who was a co-host on Geek Show, he did their movie reviews, and I was like, hey,
he actually wrote for the Deseret News, which
correct,
is a major,
and another newspaper before that in Salt Lake,
which at the time in print was an impressive.
It was the Philadelphia Inquirer of Salt Lake.
Exactly.
So I went like, hey, would this fuck up anything with Geek Show if you did your reviews on our show too?
Yeah.
And he talked to Carrie and was like, hey, do you care if I do reviews on their show? And he's like, no, they're promoting us, and they're gonna say Jeff Weiss from the Geek Show every time, right?
Exactly.
And I was like, yeah, of course.
It's cross promotion.
So then Jeff started doing movie reviews on and then it just like ballooned. And it was the punk rock thing of like, you bring up your friends, right? So we promote them, they promote us, we promote this other guy, we promote Troy, we promote It's Sick and Wrong,
South
Philly Paulcast. Yeah, like there was all these, and then we just like worked together. Tory,
Favreau,
Idiot Box Radio.
Australian bloke.
So we linked up with all these people, and we kind of all brought each other up and like helped each other out. And I dabbled with the like, I'll create a network and make it like, and then I was like, wait a second, I'm making podcast into a radio show in a radio station. I don't want to do that.
Yeah. No, I'm glad you stopped before the precipice.
Yeah, it was just like that didn't make any fucking sense. But yeah, so it just kind of built that way, and then Jeff passed away, very suddenly and very tragically, and then so his co-host he had another movie review thing on YouTube called Big Movie Mouth Off, which I always called Big Movie Mouth Job.
Yeah.
But it was him and another guy, Jimmy
Martin.
So when Jeff couldn't do the show, Jimmy would do the show. And then after Jeff passed away, Jimmy was like, do you want me to do it every week? Like, you can say no. Jeff was your guy. Like, I get it. And I was like, man, I'd love to keep doing it. And so we kind of pivoted how we did it with Jimmy. It was a little bit different than we did with Jeff. Like, Jimmy wouldn't always call in. Sometimes it would just be he'd send us a clip from his junket interviews and stuff like that.
Sure.
But then Jimmy passed away.
Yeah.
And it was like...
And that was when I was well on the show, at least with, I don't remember now.
You had both Jimmy and Jeff.
Yeah, I think
because you were there when Jeff passed away.
Absolutely. There was both. Yeah. That's why I can't remember.
But that got us way far away from how the live show started.
But
so we skipped way further
Geek Show.
Forward.
Yeah. So, but Jeff made the
So Jeff Anderson, or Jeff
created
the
channel,
the crossover. He was in a great band called Top Dead Celebrity that I'm a huge fan of. That was our intro. It's still our intro. It's a Top Dead Celebrity song.
Yeah.
And Jeff was like, you would like these dudes. So we like created this big following in Salt Lake, bigger than Philly, bigger than anywhere else in the country. And what we kind of discovered, and I don't know if this is going to offend Salt Lake listeners that are listening, but like if you've ever been to Salt Lake, or Utah in general, it's very much the church. Yeah. The Mormon church is the big thing there.
Sure.
And
the beehive.
The difference is, right, so that there's the Mormon folks.
Yeah.
And then there's the counterculture of the Mormon folks, like your Most Jeff and your Shannon and your Kerry Jackson.
And there's a great comedy club there, the Wise Guys.
Yeah, there's a wonderful comedy club there. And punk rock venues. And they've got that punk rock.
At that bar.
Burt's is closed now.
Tiki Lounge.
Yeah, Burt's is gone.
Yeah, that was a good hang. Yeah.
But so
there was definitely a undercurrent of counterculture.
So the counterculture was that
all of them.
But so they didn't
came to our show.
Yeah, but they needed something to glom onto even more than people in
in the structure
New Brunswick,
of
New Jersey. Like they don't have New York City there. They don't
because
have Philly.
Everything else is dominated by the church. Yeah.
And it's hours and hours and hours to drive to another city.
Absolutely.
Like 10 hours to drive to another city, like in Colorado, Denver, to go see like non-Mormon shit.
Anything.
So they kind of latched onto it, and then they promoted us, and they got like super into it. And I wanted to do like part of that pitch, by the way, to the TV networks was they're going to then do live shows and tour.
Yeah.
And, we'll go along for the tour.
So there's,
and so then that all fell apart. And I was like, well, I still want to do the live shows and see if that could work.
Yeah.
And so we set it up where we rented out a cinema pub, but it was like a stage.
It was called Broovies. Yeah. Which at the time was like, oh my God, why the fuck isn't this everywhere?
It wasn't as popular.
Now we have movie taverns here and bar. Like there was no alcohol in theaters here.
Yeah, it was weird.
I was like, this is
how did that start in Salt Lake as opposed to here?
Yeah.
But so we went there. We set up a live show. We did all our own ticketing. We did all our own, and basically all I wanted it to do was pay for me to go to Salt Lake to do a live show in front of these people because again, I came from doing punk rock shows and being in bands. I liked being on stage. I liked being the center of attention. The radio podcast stuff was cool.
Yeah.
But I like to be on stage.
Hell yeah. That's a big part
of it. With the DJing, with all that shit. I like to be on a stage. And so I was like, let's see if we can make that happen.
The performance.
Pay for all of our tickets
because doing
out
this
there.
in your bedroom, you're not getting much on the other side. Yeah.
Well, we did. with the calls and the emails and shit.
But absolutely.
It's not the same as someone laughing.
Immediate.
Man, you do comedy.
Yeah,
it's
the
immediate feedback for the...
It's literally called feedback because...
But man, how much better was the show in fucking Salt Lake than the show in Philly?
So much better.
Because it was more of I think it was more of an active audience, right?
It was.
And we did. So then we did another live show at World Cafe Live. But like people...
Yeah, Cafe Live.
People flew into the Salt Lake show and to the Philly show from all over the country.
Yeah, dude.
People from from Canada and shit.
Amazing. I met so many cool people. Yeah. I wrote 10 minutes original, which is insane to think about right now.
But it was a captive audience, and you fucking killed it.
Yeah.
You killed the Salt Lake show like I've never seen. Like that was, and I've got the footage somewhere.
It's on YouTube,
isn't it? I think
it
is.
Be. But that was so fun, dude.
Yeah.
Because I knew the beats to hit. I knew the beat. Like it was kind of a softball. It wasn't I won't say it was a softball. I still had
to work.
Try and make them laugh, but like I had some pressure points. I knew what to.
And you had some background knowledge of the people who were going to be there. Yeah. You knew who they were. Yeah. You knew you can get a Star Wars Battlestar Galactica joke in there. They're gonna fucking laugh.
I know. Yeah, I knew the audience.
Right.
I knew the audience. But
that was great.
Was amazing. That was one of the best stand-up things.
Super fun. And then all of that couldn't have been put together without our friend Futzer.
Jeff Futzer. Yeah.
Who like
that was 2011.
Was that when it was?
I think
it was before. Well, no, because Brock was born in 2011. Oh, in December, so it was like March of 11.
I have the tickets. I know it was a spring.
I have printed out tickets at my house.
Okay.
But it was March of 2011.
Yeah.
And so to go back, like when you were doing podcasts in those days, and like you and I said, there's big connections to people, right? We met this guy as a listener in Salt Lake, and his name was Jeff Futzer, and he would just, and that's an assumed name. His name is Jeff, but he quickly became an actual friend, you know. And there's people that like, you know, he'd call in voicemails, he'd send emails, he'd send donations, he'd send presents, he'd send
he's
like
the
very
Bruce
thoughtful.
Wayne of fans.
He fucking is, man.
He's the Bruce Wayne of fans.
Such a legitimately fucking great guy.
Yeah.
And
doesn't need to advertise.
He did so much shit that I've never talked to anyone about for that show. Exactly. He's the guy that
I knew that
reached out to Rick Emerson, who's my radio god, when Rick Emerson went off the air.
Yeah.
And befriended Rick Emerson. He listened to Rick Emerson too.
Yeah.
And then
but like spoke on your behalf.
Spoke on my behalf and said like, "Hey man, you probably don't know this dude." Turns out he did. He had a little background knowledge. It was because we attacked another dude at his radio station inadvertently.
Things happen.
And it turns out like, and then also we had a big Portland audience because of Court and Fat Boy.
Yeah. And
like partnering with those dudes. But anyway, he goes like, "Hey, I don't know if you know this show." And he's like, "Yeah, I've heard of him." And he's like, "Well, this dude's like a super huge fan of yours. He would love to interview." He didn't fucking tell me he was doing this.
That's amazing.
He was like, he would love to talk to you on the show.
Yeah.
And he was like, "I don't know." Like it was just after he got let go, his station flipped formats and he quit.
Yeah.
And then so like he eventually talked him into doing it, and I got to fucking do an interview with like who is like my hero in talk radio. And then somehow then later for episode 800 or 808, he bought that dude's microphone that he broadcast most of his career with, had him sign it and send it to me, which, by the way, is an Electro Voice RE20, the greatest vocal transducer known to man, which was a thing that Rick Emerson said on his show all the time.
Absolutely.
I bought that microphone because, I mean, he's a fucking influencer before that was a thing.
For the listener that listens like to the mainstream shit, Tom Segura uses it.
Yeah. It is the gold standard.
That microphone was here because I thought for one of the shows I would have a third guest. I was like, I don't want to touch it.
There's an autographed one.
Yeah, it's autographed. It's sick. Sick. Great
but
machine.
It's like, you know, it's been the mic that I've used for 15, 16 years probably. And
this mic is inferior. I just need multiples. So
I love these mics, by the way.
They're great.
The
They're versatile.
SM7Bs are fucking great.
I had to do the bass roll off for the
You're
pipes.
too basic, bro.
Yeah.
But yeah, so anyway, he got me that mic as a gift, and like it's like the most
it's
precious
been here,
thing
like
I've
I said.
ever had. Like it was like I got very nervous lending it, but I was like, of course I'm gonna lend it to Troy. Troy will take care of it.
I felt weird about it.
But yeah, so like there's dudes like that are just, and there are no dudes like that, by the way. That's what there's one dude like that.
One of one. Yeah.
And he's become like a close personal friend and a really good friend of the show and of me personally, and like he would do anything for any of us. So
yeah, solid dude.
So that's a kind of a cool fucking thing about podcasting that like I think isn't really talked about.
Covered.
No one really talks about it a lot. No. Is like
it's forgotten.
Personal connections that you make with
the sands of time
listeners. Like this dude, Dr. Carnitas, and we give him all stupid fucking names. Dr. Carnitas is a dude, Chad, that like
that dude's solid, man. Yeah.
Lived in Texas, and
I love talking to that guy. He's so like supportive.
Have you talked to him?
Oh yeah, he hits me up.
With him.
I mean, over the years,
he
super supportive
from Texas. And moved to now he lives in Montana.
Made the jump. Yep.
Yeah, and like
he was on when we did Drunksgiving episode.
Yeah,
he jumped in.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot, and like I could go on for days. Like all these people that have become Iowa Charlie, Baltimore, like legit random Ian's fucking Canadian guy from Regina, Saskatchewan, the town that rhymes with fun.
Fucking Philibert from Texas, who's now like the head chef at like a. Whose restaurant is it?
The barbecue
Franklin.
Yeah, Aaron Franklin. It's not his barbecue place, but his fusion place.
His but which is even was that cooler. Austin?
Austin, yeah.
I got all the information.
But there's like such
we'll
fucking
get there together.
Really cool people.
Yeah, a community
that I would have never known.
Like really talented, amazing, hilarious people.
And like we have there's a dude Doc, and he's in Colorado, and he's a retired school administrator.
Yeah.
He's a principal of a fucking high school.
Right.
I think but he was a school administrator.
Yeah.
he'd write us postcards.
Yeah.
He came to both live shows.
They're so sweet.
He definitely came to Philly. I don't remember if I think he was at Salt Lake too.
Yeah.
But he like would send postcards and like financially support the show. Fucking and like
so sweet, dude.
Like, but like people like I wouldn't run into that dude at a bar
right
in any world.
No.
But like now
I wouldn't talk to him if we were. I'm not the like, hey, how are you?
Yeah.
I'm not.
I'm trying to be more of that dude as I get older.
Dude, I'm
just like chat with people where I'm at, you know? I'm not good at it yet.
Like, you know, I just hit 40 and I don't give a fuck anymore about asking people to do the podcast. Like, you either say no, ghost me, or do it.
Yeah, but it don't matter.
And my favorite people have done it.
Yeah.
Like, I like them more than the other. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't affect me.
Yeah. It's you got to get to an age where it
I'm
just
fine
doesn't
with being ghosted. I'm married, so ghosting ain't nothing.
Yeah, ghost me. I don't give a fuck, dude.
And then there's people that are like, yo, I'm an open micer. I'm nobody anyway, so why are you talking to me? The people that have been gracious enough, and I'm like so impressed with the like.
But that's the
Naeem
coolest thing.
And fucking Callahan and Albert Davis and Jay Yoder, all these people.
All these dudes, and you're getting what's fucking cool about that is like. I want to listen to those dudes talk, and I want to hear about how the sausage is made, right?
Yeah.
But I want to hear them.
I'm not a professional comedian talking to. Well, they are a lot of.
But that's what I mean. Is
more recently have been.
Is
but
they're
like,
also telling you how the sausage is made?
Yes,
and they're helping
absolutely.
you and
that's
bringing you up, right?
Yeah, that's my secret.
It's not a secret though, like right? You're promoting.
This is my come up. You can follow me with it. You know, I'm trying to be as humble as I can about it. Yeah. Like, I'm not trying to put on any airs. Yeah. I'm nobody worth talking to. But if I can carry a conversation, and I'd like to hear your story.
Right, but also those dudes want to tell their story, but they also were you, and they want to bring you up too.
And those are the dudes that I'm going to follow into the fucking, sunset. Like, the dude, like, stick with the winners.
Mordor.
The guys, as soon as if there's anything I can help anybody out with behind me.
Well, when we get our
I have
fucking
a ways
mic,
to go.
When we get our mic,
when we get our mic, we'll start. Yeah, but that's the way it goes. Like, you help this guy, the next guy helps you.
It's the punk rock mentality.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
And I've gotten more in my life because of that mentality and that idea than anything else I've done.
Yeah,
I went to college.
Positive that has happened.
I have an associate's degree. All right, cool. But that's not how I got like podcast listeners and did podcasts for so long or met some of these fucking people.
Yeah.
It's the mentality of like you bring up those around you and you bring up people that you believe in or you just fucking like them, man.
Because if they're like talented and good at the thing that whatever the thing is, like they're just like high tides lift all boats. High tides lift all boats.
You struggle with that one, but yeah, but that's a fucking for real thing. And you know what? Like they don't have to be. You don't have to go like I dig the shit that they do. You don't have to dig the shit that they do.
Yeah.
But you know what? You dig them as a person.
Yeah.
And you want to help them, and you want to watch people succeed.
And maybe one day the shit that they do, like
I'm not Buddha, but I want to help people succeed. Yeah. Like I'm not about knocking.
What if
people
the
down.
next thing they do is like blows you away, like,
right?
And you had a small part in helping them,
or they help someone out because you helped them out, and that person gets more successful.
Yeah.
And this is how I wanted to explain to you my pyramid scheme that I'm working on.
yeah.
And it's about
just
like all you got to do is invest
level marketing.
Yeah, multi-level marketing.
Multi-level marketing.
So Troy, I just need you to invest in 2 comedians,
and 4 pairs of yoga pants.
Yeah, and we get yoga pants, and then we get the khakis, and then we get the chicks.
Then we get the chicks.
Or the jobs. Cool. Khakis, jobs, chicks, I think is how
basketball works.
Great fucking movie, dude.
Genius. Those guys, this is what I started the podcast out as, trying to do a sketch show.
Right.
Like the South Park guys. Like they make it, you've seen the documentary.
Yeah.
Those are, I was very dumb to think that would be like I could make a 13 minutes, which is nothing. Like make a, I made one.
I was worried. I was worried when you gave me that concept. I go, if there's anyone that can pull that off, it's Troy.
I tried.
100%. It's Troy.
And it's still like I might do some, but this is like so much better.
Yeah,
this is so much.
That's
better.
Because to me, podcasting
the
is
connection,
the connection,
and if there's a show, sell the show and get a job as doing a show, and this can still be the thing. Like,
you own this shit. Yeah. You'll always own this shit.
Yeah.
But do whatever the fuck you want with it.
Yeah.
But I'm a big proponent of the human connection part.
Yeah,
like that's what I think is the coolest fucking thing about podcasting.
It attracts people. Everyone needs that.
And the ships and the tide or something. So what is it that draws you to podcasting and to comedy, actually? To
comedy? Well, we'll start. Yeah, they're intertwined. So comedy, I think, like,
because you did comedy before you did podcasting.
I did. The first open mic I did, which I've talked about so many times I won't
Not on this show. You haven't on this show. Because I'm still waiting for you to tell the story.
To tell the joke?
About the afterbirth joke.
I will.
And how that... You don't have to do it now, because I've heard it. It's one of my favorite fucking stories, dude. But like, you got to one time you're talking to a comic, you got to tell them about it, dude, because they're gonna connect to it, you know.
Yeah.
I fucking love that. I've told your story of that to people. I fucking love it, dude.
Well, the reaction.
Yeah, this Armenian motherfucker.
No, I think like for comedy, like I got into it. I've said a little bit, but I started on like, Monty Python and shit my parents would show me, SNL, like fucking Eddie Murphy on SNL, like Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood, all that shit. We had
Eddie Murphy on vinyl.
Yeah,
when I was a kid.
So I had my mom had Bill Cosby's whole shit on vinyl.
She still got it?
Yeah.
Is in the house still?
It's somewhere. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It didn't go anywhere.
You gotta hang on to that.
And she dubbed it onto cassette.
For road trips.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good. You said that to Callahan, I think.
Yeah. I was at the back of the Plymouth Voyager cracking up to Bill Cosby.
Plymouth Voyager too, man. What a delightful automobile.
The Woody.
That's what we had. Blue.
Hell yeah.
The blue with the fake wood.
Hell yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
My dad wrecked that thing on the turnpike.
Yeah. Ours just died a natural death. But then my mom got the Toyota Previa that looked like an egg. You remember that?
That's a funny. This is a total fucking sidetrack.
Let's go.
There's a squad of people that think that like the Previa is the coolest fucking car.
Are you serious?
Yeah, dude.
There's
like a whole subculture.
If you
of people.
Google it, it will.
It's like they call it a space egg or some shit.
Yes. Yeah.
And they're putting like fucking big turbo motors and shit in them.
No shit.
And like slamming them. And dude, it's the most ridiculous subset
they're
of
dropping
car culture.
It? Like,
yeah, dude. Modifying Previas.
Stance.
By the way, I don't know if you knew that windshield.
Does your Previa have stance?
Yeah, you gotta stance that bitch out, dude. That windshield on that Previa was worth like $2,000.
Yeah,
like to replace it.
The perfectly curved.
It was curved and it was long as shit. Yeah, man.
It was like a windshield / moonroof combo.
Yeah, weird, dude. What a weird car.
So. I don't know.
So comedy. So what is it about? What is it about comedy that keeps you
just like
wanting it?
Like just like I want to. That feeling you get on stage. To answer directly that question, that feeling you get on stage, the immediate feedback of, I just made you laugh because of something I thought of, like in a masturbatory way. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like.
It makes you feel good.
Just a throwaway thought, and like I'm focused. Like my first bit right now, which I've totally rewritten.
About afterbirth.
No. That was the first incarnation, but it's all about the DUI and shit. And
okay,
the third actually.
Good.
And it's
you should talk about that, man.
It's like
right?
taking the biggest, dumbest thing I've ever done. The biggest, one of the biggest trauma causation of my trauma, in that I can point back to, beyond my parental shit.
Yeah,
we all got
behind
that.
childhood trauma.
We all got that. But it's turning that shit into a positive. And if someone laughs off of one little joke I have in that's just like,
yeah,
I didn't fuck up all the way.
Right.
It's like it's there's a tale of redemption in there somewhere.
Yeah. Oh, for sure, dude.
I think. And I'm still trying to find it, but it's in there, and it feels so good to flip such a negative that ruined my life. Well,
right.
I wouldn't have met my wife without those circumstances in my life.
You were selling women's ass shoes, dude.
Yeah, dude. Slanging them, slanging those stilettos.
So my first minute of my set is about your DUI. I don't know if you knew that. Yeah,
I love it.
But
I'm
now
glad I can pass.
So here's that's the thing, like, man. So I've been a fan of stand-up comedy my whole life, right? Big fan of stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
And
so who are your guys like? And let's say like in your formative year, like your teenage year or later teen. Like,
I mean, early 20. Like, I'm gonna say, like, it was the Cosbys and the who else did we just say?
Fucking Murphy, Eddie
Murphy
Raw,
and shit like that.
Like,
or Eddie Murphy, like big time when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But
catch like any Richard Pryor?
Yeah, big time.
Live on the Sunset Strip. But again, was like big that was
for me. You had to be a massive star back then, right?
Yeah.
So then it became.
So it wasn't something I thought I could do.
Right. I never considered that as something I could do. I always wanted to. I thought it would be fucking cool as shit. But I went on to, like, in my 20s, then became the, like, Brian Posehn's and the Patton Oswalt.
Yeah. Never
met.
Yeah.
And like those dudes, right? And then it kind of moved into, you know, your Burt Kreischers, your Joe Rogans, and like those are the comics that kind of stood out to me, and I got to be Dave Attell, like big fucking since his first album.
Amazing.
Dave Attell, like,
dude, I used to watch.
Thank you, Slow Gas Leak. Like a lot of my speech patterns are fucking Dave Attell speech patterns.
Yeah, and so are a million other open micers. Fucking by the
everybody, dude. Because,
everybody's starting out
because it's so good. That's what stopped me.
Cadence you follow
that's what stopped me from doing stand up.
Yeah,
because I liked these guys so much that I would, if I did jokes, I would just be aping their shit.
Well, there's a certain modicum of respect that comes out of that, but I also have to say that everybody's first shit is aping somebody's shit,
right?
Because that's all that you have to have some frame of reference that you're coming from.
But I'm hoping that it's like a Patton Oswalt, Brian Posehn, like angle, right?
Yeah.
Rather than David. And I love fucking David Tell and Jim Kelly and Jim Norton, and like all these, or Jim Kelly, Bobby Kelly, and Jim Norton.
Jim Kelly is a great Philly comedian.
Yeah,
he'll be doing a show that I'll be part of.
That's why it was in my brain because you guys just talked
Jim
about
K. Yeah,
but like, I would like to do that one day. And when we get our mic in Westchester, I'm going to start doing it.
Hell yeah.
Because, like, if there's one thing, it's like I don't travel.
I don't.
I did that for a long time. But that
like, part of the punk rock is over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think that I'm funny enough to be a stand-up comic that makes money doing it.
I do.
But I would like to do it and see if I could do it. Mm-hmm. I'd also like to get a band back together again. Like, you know what I mean? So there's like all these things that I'm like, I yearn to be on stage in some capacity, but like I hope that's something I can do.
Yeah,
and maybe comedy. I'll give it a shot.
But
I don't think
I
I'm
would
gonna be
love
good at it.
to like work that out, especially if you're good at talking to venues, because I don't do that.
Yeah, well, I'm good. I can handle that shit. But I'm like, I think the storytelling comedy is kind of that's going to be more.
That's where
of my shit.
I'm leaning for. You know, my like shit is like Mitch and Mitch Hedberg.
Yeah, big fan of Mitch.
And Stephen Wright. You know, my one-liner shit. But like the shit I'm writing is more story oriented because I'm getting shit off my chest. You know what I mean? But you can put one-liners inside of bits.
I don't know that I can. Maybe you can.
Well,
maybe you can. I got to figure out how to do that. But
the proverbial you. Yeah.
But
the royal we.
Of course, the royal wee. But like, I think I would like to try that. But like, I've been podcasting now nearly 20 years, and that is just storytelling, right? Yeah. So I think like I could, it would take me a while to figure out the right format and the right way to do it. I think maybe I'm going to try it. And I promise, and I've been promising you that for 10 years.
Bits can come from podcasting. Like, I'm saying, dude, like, should have thought of, like,
I feel like I would lean, because my life is so heavily just in dad shit. I feel like it would be just dad shit.
Well, dude,
all the time. But like, that might mean people make careers off of that shit.
One of my guests, Jay Yoder, is a teacher, and he's on a board teachers comedy tour right now. And he's doing every fucking night he's doing 8 nights a week somehow. And it's fucking like there's a niche for everything. Yeah. If it's funny, it's funny. You know what I mean?
It's like fat tattooed dead punk rock dads.
I'm
like
sure, dude. Start it. It'll start it.
All right.
Yeah.
So I've got these titties. I'm 45 and I've got titties now. That'll be my first joke after the DUI joke about Troy.
I love it.
But yeah, well, I'm glad on a personal level that you're doing comedy again, because
it feels good, man.
I think you're fucking great at it. And granted, I've only seen you do it at the two podcast related shows.
You've seen it.
I want to see you succeed at it because I think you're fucking hilarious.
Well, I appreciate it, and I love you, man.
Yeah.
And dude, you have to know like how much of an influence like you have been like in tertiary ways that you'll never know.
Yeah. Wiener stuff.
Yeah, wiener stuff.
I just need you to work into your set somehow the phrase tummy sticks.
Tummy sticks.
Because it's the fucking most hilarious shit.
I'll slide it in.
Playing tummy sticks.
Slide it in
but yeah, I just want to see you succeed. Like I enjoy listening to your fucking podcast, and I always have. But I think this iteration of your podcast is some of the best.
I think so, man.
Yeah.
And it has less to do with me than like the people I'm meeting,
that's not true, right? Because without you being able to be a conversationalist and getting a good story out of somebody and having a conversation, and then like again, just going like, hey man, you want to do my shit? You want to be on my show? Without that, it doesn't exist, right?
That's true.
So you got to be the facilitator, and you are that.
Okay.
So shut the fuck up.
Fine. You got me on that.
I'm a big fan of your brand. That's what I'm saying.
I branded myself on studying your brand.
Yeah. It's a brand. It's a study and brand.
I know you only use lowercase letters for a long time.
I know. I struggle because like now professionally,
that's
I have
how
to
deep
use
I know
uppercase.
you, dude. No.
Why are the other fucking wires? Maybe that'll be my first minute, right? Yeah. Why are some letters better than the other? That's literally my answer to people for years, and it was just because like I want to hit the shift key, right?
Yeah.
And I just like
type it
fuck
out.
it. Yeah. I'll just type it and just.
I love that. Yeah. Oh, I love that.
What, just this letter's better because it's the beginning of the sentence? Fuck you.
Yeah. No, but it's like a branding. It's a stylization. Like if you look at to compare you to Riff Raff, which is a natural.
Obviously.
He has a very. If you look at his Instagram posts, he has for the past forever that I've followed him. And he is an enigma, a genius. Yeah. He's smarter than he'll ever let you know.
Oh yeah. Same with the Insane Clown Posse. We can get into that if you want.
Yeah. But Riff Raff, like, he has a very stylized way of typing out. Like, he'll only capitalize certain things. But like,
it's marketing, right?
It is, and
that's what I do
remember
professionally
because of that. Yeah. Well, you do. Yeah.
But that's a thing. Like, I just always did it that way, and it was. I also have this thing, and you've known me for 20 fucking years now, probably, or close to it anyway.
Yeah. For all intents and purposes.
I grab onto a thing, and I don't ever fucking let it go, right?
Yeah.
Like my intense hate for Walmart. Like, that's my fucking thing.
Yeah.
For a while, when I was younger, I wouldn't eat cake, right? I just, like, grab a thing, and I go, like, that's I'm the guy that doesn't fucking eat cake anymore, right? And then I just, like, drive it into the fucking ground. To the point where I've still never spent $1 in Walmart, and I'm 45 years old, right?
Yeah.
But, I mean...
That's to be admired.
Admittedly, like, it's not convenient for me. Like, there's not a Walmart near my fucking house. It's like...
It doesn't take away from your everyday... It's not like you're skipping by the Walmart.
But I take a stand on shit, like a nonsensical stand, and I stick by it for years and years and years.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't wear flip-flops for years. Now I fucking wear them every day.
Yeah,
like, I don't leave the house in them or slippers.
Right,
like,
right.
Crocs, though.
You're not a savage.
A fucking stone too far. That's not a phrase that anyone uses, but you know what I mean.
Yes.
It's a footwear too far.
Yeah.
I will not do Crocs.
No. It doesn't matter. Orange, gray, doesn't matter.
Yeah. Rainbow, camo. I don't give a shit.
Stop it.
I mean, for a while, I was obsessed with cargo
unless you're working
shorts.
in a kitchen or spraying down alligators for a living. I don't know. Is that a job?
I don't know. You jerk off
I
an
spray
alligator.
down the alligator.
Spray
them down. Yeah.
Jerk off an alligator. You don't. Do alligators have dicks?
Protein pack.
They have dicks, right? They gotta have dicks.
Yeah, they fuck.
Yeah.
They're DTF.
You know, don't want to get that on your suede shoes, right? I guess.
Not the blue ones.
But yeah, you gotta have a thing, right?
Yeah.
Your thing is.
My thing is
ruggedly
fucking,
handsome, right?
No,
that's your thing.
No, that is a.
It's the DUIs.
It's a game of diminishing returns. But no, there's I don't know, man. It's a weird time right now. It's an exciting time. I'm like trying to build something, and just the people you meet through trying to do something,
right?
Like vastly improves, and then. If there's one thing I learned from being forced to go to AA when I was incarcerated and yada yada,
it's coffee and cigarettes.
It's coffee and cigarettes, and stick with the winners.
Yeah.
And when you see something good, study it. Try to make friends with the person.
Yeah.
Try to like learn what they know, and just fucking build on.
And then bring them up when you can.
Yeah.
That's part of it.
Yeah. And fucks with each other. Like, fucking, let's grow together. I like what you do. I hope you like what I do. Let's grow together.
Yeah.
And that's what you always did for me.
Tummy sticks.
Yeah, tummy sticks.
We're back to tummy sticks. But no, fucking big fan of your shit, dude, right?
I guess.
Yeah, I am.
I guess.
You got to be a fan of your shit too, though.
Yeah.
Right?
No, I like what I'm doing. Yeah. I fucking am enjoying the shit out of it. But I just don't want to get like hung up on laurels. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want to make it better. As soon as I said something funny, I'm thinking about what can I say next. Not like trying to be on in the podcast.
Right.
But I'm just saying in general. Like
you find something that hits on stage.
And try to
go like, okay, how can I play off of that?
Why did that make you laugh? Like, why did that? And what can I say that makes it better?
Tummy
and
sticks.
Try it out. Yeah.
Keep it.
It's
bring it back,
the answer,
dude.
yeah.
Bring it back.
Ad infinitum. So, what's like the weirdest interaction you've had with a listener fan?
Do you know the answer to this? Because this is. Like,
I know. I might not.
There was this dude. And I don't
because there's a plethora of examples I could lay out, but
yeah. So, and I don't remember this dude's name, but he came down. He came here from somewhere else. Like he was not from here, and he flew here.
Yeah.
And this is years and years and years ago. It was when I had that apartment in Havertown.
Uh-huh.
And he was like, yeah, I want to come visit, like check out the show, like maybe sit in on a show. And it was like bold.
Just out of nowhere?
I mean, he was a longtime listener and stuff, like, and he kind
like
of
that you knew of.
I knew of him. Like he called
that.
a bunch.
Okay,
so it was like it was a known commodity.
He left voicemails,
right? He left voicemails, maybe some live calls and stuff like that. And I knew he was quirky, but like he seemed like a very nice guy, and I didn't feel like threatened by anything. Rookie move, by the way. And so like he came.
You
down.
don't know until you do, though. I mean.
Yeah, this stopped shortly after that, and this might have been in the Taylor days. This might have been an early lesson I learned. And he like came down. It was in the Taylor days because we had a fucking in-store at a porn store.
Are you serious?
At like with like Joanna Angel, like Burning Angels.
I know. Yeah. Unfortunately, I know.
And we had her on the show, and it was like some
Joanna
event.
Angel. Did you?
I
don't remember.
And that was in like the very early days because it was Taylor and it was
for sure
Maxim, like the serious shit.
Yeah.
And this dude was like, I'm gonna come down from wherever the fuck he was from, and he came down, and like. Again, punk rock ethic. The band is coming to see you. they need a place to crash. You're like, I got a couch. You can fucking crash on my floor.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I thought it was a good idea. I was like, yeah, fucking crash with us. Like, we know you. Like, you call in all the time.
Yeah.
And he came down.
Yeah.
And then he was like, yo, can I smoke weed? And I was like, yeah, sure, man. I don't fucking care.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he, like, went outside and, like, went into a bush in front of my apartment and, like, smoked weed. By the way, this apartment was on the same road as a police station.
Also, if you had a front, you had a back.
Not really. I mean, my apartment was on the front of the building.
So you didn't even have, like, a rear, like, it was a building. Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. Like, he was
like literally
in the bush.
like
in the bush.
Spy versus spy in a bush.
In a fucking bush, dude.
Like Black Hat.
And he's like smoking weed and it got fucking weird and stuff like that. And he eventually left and he didn't murder us or anything, but it was dicey.
It was sketchy.
Yeah.
And then the vibe, right? The vibe changed, like when you meet him.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, this was a bad idea. But like, there's been more positive shit.
There's been way more. Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Trailerized Joe.
Yeah.
Who I consider like a great friend now. Like, and I've met him. He's come up a bunch of times.
Izzy Rock.
Izzy, man. Oh, man, what a fucking great dude.
That's a monumental thing we should talk about. Fucking. When I was lucky enough to be part of the show, we were interviewed for a documentary about podcasting.
Earbuds, it was called.
Earbuds.
And we were cut from the documentary.
Cut from it. But
except
it was
Izzy was there.
Izzy was there as like a fan, and so was South Philly Paul.
Yeah.
And the dude's I interviewed the dude on my old podcast. The fuck was his name?
That did the documentary?
Yes.
Graham
Elwood.
Right.
He's the one I interviewed on my old podcast.
I forget the other dude.
Tuesday. And then his boy, I feel so bad, but
I don't. Because they cut us from the fucking documentary,
so
yeah,
we're cut from
them
from it.
Always the fucking bridesmaid.
But
like, I named the show Mediocre. Like, what the fuck did I expect, right? Mediocre show. It's okay.
I don't know. I got feelings.
I caught feelings on that for sure. I was like, come on, man. You came all the way here.
Not about me, but
a clip? Yeah. Come on. You could give us it.
But that was like just the fact that the whole film crew came out. We got like the day off. We took a half day from work, I think. I did. And got interviewed by a film crew like about a podcast. That's pretty fucking cool. Chill. Yeah.
There's been some like really fun shit, and like I said, like, dude, I've met some fucking amazingly wonderful people. Throughout this whole thing. And like,
what do you think about the Philly Live, the Philly World Cafe Live? What was it?
I don't know, man. It did not hit like Salt Lake.
It didn't hit. I thought I could I could do like, I wrote 5 minutes of stand up for that. And then I was like, yeah. And then for the other 5, I'll get Matt Kittensparks to just, because at my old podcast, See You Next Tuesday, I would like find bizarre news stories, not mainstream, but really niche, weird stories. So I thought I could do like a 5-minute live version of that with Kittensparks because he's a fucking ringer.
Right.
I don't have to worry about him being funny. And it's just fucking, I might as well have like face planted.
That was rough, man. And I think coming off of Salt Lake, we're like, we can't lose, right?
Yeah.
It was a couple years later, but we were like, we can't fucking lose. Yeah. Like, let's do this.
And then for your part, he overserved himself, and it was just like,
oh, it was bad. It was rough. It was a rough event. But I think part of that was like, that room was weird. It was a weird fucking big empty cavernous room. There weren't a lot. I mean, there weren't as many people there as were at the Salt Lake show.
Yeah.
Like, Salt Lake show was a banger, dude.
Yes.
And that was because of local support, right? We were the local support. We don't have that kind of support in Philly.
True.
And people came from everywhere and hung out, and it was great. Yeah. But it was not. It wasn't
the same vibe.
Yeah.
It was fun as shit. It was fun. I'm so glad that we
played World Cafe Live. Like, that's kind of fun, cool, man.
Yeah, I forget that. Like, you know, I've done that shit. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. But it's been a cool fucking journey. And like, the consistency thing bothers me in the deepest parts of my soul.
Please
right?
know that came
I know it wasn't. I know.
From you.
I know, but I'm fucking with you by saying that was a shot at me. But because
that
that's
is
a thing,
an homage to you.
That's a thing that hurts my soul that we're not consistent with it now. But like almost 20 years in, it's still fun to do it.
But it's your own thing. So when does a contract? It's your,
right.
Yeah.
And also like. I've got 3 kids and a full-time job.
Yeah.
And like stress and like bullshit going on, right? So
how much can you
I don't live the same life that I did when that show started and I had shit to talk about every week.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I just don't have anything to talk about. Like, do you guys want to hear about how my fucking dog got out and was in my neighbor's yard all night and we got her back in the morning? Like, no one wants to hear that shit, right? I don't think that they do. Maybe they fucking do, but like I understand
what you mean.
I've gotten to the point where like I'm just like I don't want to stop, right? I don't want to stop yet. I don't want to fade into where we just one day that was our last show and we didn't fucking acknowledge that it was our last show.
Right.
Which was like a thing that became called pod fading.
No,
like people named
that
it
show
shit.
can't end that way.
I don't want it to, right? But like at the same time, like I'm still having fun when we do. Like every time we do a show, whenever we do it, we go like, man, I fucking needed that.
Yeah.
Right. And it's more about, at this point, more about therapy for the 3 of us.
Sure.
Than it is about I'm trying to sell an entertainment thing to somebody.
And that's a niche too.
Yeah.
The podcasting is fucking broad brush.
Yeah. And I hope that's okay. And our numbers have shown that that is not what everybody wants.
I understand.
But like, I don't look at them anymore.
But 1 versus 4 was gonna dive anyway. Like it's not anything you're doing.
Right. It's just that things have changed. My life has changed,
and it's okay to say no to things in life.
Yeah,
that's
I'm
important.
not. But I'm not ready to stop. And that's the thing is like, if I do, and the joke and the listeners give a shit about it is like, 11 shows a year. Yeah, like, that's all we get now. Like once a month. But like. If that's how it shakes out, like you don't have to stick around, man.
You don't have to listen.
I don't give a fuck if anybody sticks around at this point. At some point, there'll be a point where I log into Libsyn and I wish it didn't tell you the downloads every time you log in, because then I go like, man, that's a bummer. Yeah. Because there was a point where we were getting hundreds of thousands per episode of downloads.
I know.
And then, like, it's not that anymore. I'm not ashamed to say that. It's just not.
No one's getting those numbers.
Rogan is.
I mean, like, no one
no truly independent people.
No one is getting those numbers.
But like, I just want to like upload the shit, and like if it's me shouting into the abyss.
Yeah.
Now, if that's what it is, okay.
Yeah.
I say that I don't need the feedback and I don't need the acknowledgement for doing it. I do still need it.
We do.
But it's less important to me than it was 10 years ago.
Because you have things in your life that are
If I had the numbers of downloads that we get now, if I got them 10 years ago, I'd be like, fuck all this. I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's
I guarantee you everybody's getting those numbers, dude. Like,
right. And I don't care anymore. That's the thing is I grew beyond giving a shit.
Yeah.
Like I don't need, like I have a family and I have a life that I love and I enjoy it, and I've got a fiance that I fucking love. And like this shit is going good otherwise. When I started the show, it was single me, not admitting that I was depressed.
Completely different person.
And like going down a bad
it sounds like how I started this one.
You know what I mean? It was and it was therapy for me, and it gave me a fucking, I was working shitty jobs and like full-time jobs, but like temp jobs and like retail jobs and
bouncing
like
around.
Bullshit.
Same as I did.
And like I didn't have a career.
Not a field.
Yeah.
So
I've got a career now and I've got professional acknowledgments and like things are going good. Knock on wood. For now they're going good. But
they have been for quite some time.
Yeah, but so like
it's more stable than you make it sound.
I don't need as much out of the podcast as I needed 18 years ago.
You're being fulfilled in other ways.
Right. So 18 years ago, it was very important to me. You got a fucking
fantastic fiance. She's the best. You have the best kids.
I got a fucking house that I never would have thought I could have had.
The house is fucking amazing.
Right. Like I never thought that, like, and you just look back to when I started the show in a 1-bedroom apartment.
Yeah.
And like,
I did the first time we did a podcast was at the Upper Darby studio.
Upper Drugs house.
There was like me, my ex, you, your ex, and Mike. So 5 people crammed in.
A tiny bedroom.
Probably
half
like
the size of this.
A closet size. Yeah. And it was fun as shit.
It was fun. That was with the Drunksgiving days.
Yeah. Drunksgiving,
Yeah. But like it's a different show. And what's funny is like all those 930 or whatever we're up to is they're still there.
Yeah.
Right? Aside episode 1 and episode 40.
Yeah.
There's
What's
a couple
40?
We skipped it. There's a funny story.
Oh, because
I had a concept that didn't work out. And I'll tell you that story in a second, but like our lives have fucking fully changed in the last 18 years, right?
Hell yeah.
And so have all the listeners' lives, right?
Hell
and if there's someone finding us now, which I highly doubt there's people still finding us, but there might be people still discovering the show. They've got 900 episodes. They can listen to the last 18 years of my life.
Yeah.
And like, and we were very open. I'm very open with my life on the podcast, right?
You are.
So you can listen to it all.
Yeah.
And you can go on that fucking journey. And what's cool is like one day I will allow my kids to listen to it and they can hear through that whole thing.
That'll be amazing.
That'll be fucking weird. But
super weird.
Maybe maybe it's written into my will that they can't listen until I'm dead, right? Because I don't want to have awkward conversation. What's tummy sticks? Ask Troy. Ask
Uncle Troy.
So like, I don't know. So there's that, and like I'm not ready to give up. I do. Yeah, there's been a little bit of fatigue recently, where you go like, how long do I keep doing this?
Right.
But like,
and for what? Yeah.
Yeah, but I still enjoy it.
I forgot to mention, like, I don't know why it reminded me, but you and Matt were one of the first podcasts to do the Adam and Eve, the superfluous, like, Adam and Eve
affiliate marketing.
Everybody at the beginning of the first wave, let's call it.
That's first wave.
You want to call it first wave?
Yeah.
Podcast.
I've been called worse.
Yeah. But like, yeah, you did the Adam and Eve things, and that was
a fucking scam.
Tell me about that business model.
So that was.
This is a warning to would-be podcasts.
Yeah, don't do this
Please.
Shit, because it was basically it was affiliate marketing. They give you a fucking code, and I'm sure like I don't know. There's a bunch that other people are doing. Like even like Rogan and shit does them, but like I'm sure his deal is way different than.
I mean, he has his own shit too.
Yeah,
like he's a Spotify exclusive, but he also still retains the rights to do his own ads. So
like I've never done anything that I lost any kind of control over my content or my show at all. Right.
Right.
So I never took an advertiser that had any input on what I talked about. Right. That was the deal. I would never fucking do that.
Only live reads or only reads. Personal reads.
Yeah. Yeah, like we didn't play pre-produced commercials ever. Mm-hmm. And I didn't put them as pre-roll. Or maybe I did at one point, but it was always I put it in manually.
Yeah.
We did some e-cigarette shit back in the early days of e-cigarettes.
Yeah.
I can't even remember the names of those.
I don't. The fuck. I had
Fumo.
one. Yeah.
Fumo was one. Which is Spanish for fumes, I think.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Fumes, yeah.
Probably not good. But so anyway, like the Adam and Eve thing, they approached a bunch of fame. They just went through like the top 10 in comedy podcasts and said like, hey, we want to do this advertising deal with you. Here's how it works. And they fronted you money. And I don't even remember how much money it was.
So it was an advance.
They paid you money in advance, $2,000.
Let's call it $1,000. Yeah,
I think it was maybe $2,000.
And
we used it to buy gear and stuff like that, like buy stuff for shows, like audio equipment and shit. And then they gave you an affiliate code, like ours was like tattoo or something. Like we just needed something, right? And it was like people aren't smart enough to spell mediocre. So like, look, what's an easy one?
Tattoo.
So we did that, and then it was like you use that code, they got 5 or 10% off whatever the deal was. And it reflects
back against your
and then it's back onto our account. So they gave you a percentage of the sale. So this is how affiliate marketing works everywhere now. Still, they still do this model like REI and shit. Like I don't know if REI does, but like it's common in marketing. It's a scam. Don't fucking do it. If you're a content creator, it's bullshit. Don't fucking do it. Don't get trapped. Yeah. Because they advance you money, and then you have to
make it back.
You make it back with their small
shitty
percentage.
First record deal.
Yeah.
You got to make
it's great for them, dude.
It's like, hey, I got this money, but you have to record the record. You have to
You got to
market it, promote it. That's the budget.
And by the way, you're gonna get 3%.
You're making that. Yeah,
and you get the 3%, and it comes off of your 1,000, and then we'll renew when you're done.
End of day, yeah, you're getting fucked.
And it went. I mean, I don't know how long we did Adam and Eve live reads for, but it was a long time because like
you had
to keep doing it. In the contract, you had to keep doing it until you paid back your advance.
Yeah.
And it got to the point.
That is a straight record deal.
It is, and it's bad. Don't do affiliate marketing. If you're a content creator of any sort, don't do fucking affiliate marketing.
Don't take 360 deals. I don't know who's being offered those at this listening to this, but
but like, you know, they got so many fucking ad reads because like we sold
the balance.
We sold 1,500 relatively quickly in that last
1,500 what?
Like what's that?
Sex toys.
Like sex toys and fucking pornos and shit. Right? It was a fucking bad idea, dude. But it was who would give us money.
So we get a free gift.
Yeah. And it was like
French tickler.
But then we spun it into a fun way, and we had the master bot.
The reads were the
stuff.
best because the best readers.
Yeah, fucking lady boner, lady whacking it, stuff like that.
Lady whack.
But yeah, so like it just drug on for too long, and they definitely got the better end of that fucking deal. But I still hear Adam and Eve.
Yeah. So beware of your advertising pursuits, y'all.
Yeah.
I have yet to. I don't have the numbers yet, but
I don't know, man. It doesn't seem like get on TikTok and get big on TikTok and be part of that creator fund.
I'm trying to look for ways, man, to do it.
I'm a big proponent of TikTok.
I'm just so scared of like.
I know with the fucking at this point, like I don't you get
you know I'm a fucking fanatic.
Well, I know, but like
you know,
and maybe I'm being naive about it.
No,
I'm not a content creator there. I'm just a consumer of content.
I say that, but. That being said, there's a gentleman that is making a lot of money that I've only heard of because of that.
Oh, Johnny Crowdworks?
No. Yes. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Matt Rife. Like, and by the way, like, he's a pretty funny comic. He's good at, he just figured out how to.
And he's good looking. Yes, he is
handsome.
fucking good looking. Yeah. Like, he's good looking.
But that worked for him. He found the fucking angle, right? And
are you mad because your jokes aren't good enough, or are you mad because like he can make people laugh and he's good looking? Like,
and he's good looking, and all these middle-aged moms want to fuck him.
Yeah,
and they just consume his shit. And
if your goal is to like make money off this shit, then he's fucking smashing it out of the fucking park.
He's doing it. Yeah. He's doing it. And I don't know. I haven't watched. You watched his special?
Is he not my hero? No. Yeah, I watched. Well. I mean,
what is he? He's a
good
marketer.
I say I watch a special now, it's like I watched 15 minutes.
And you were high as shit.
Yeah, at least.
but
at least.
But what I'm saying is like that dude he's a marketer. And there's a certain amount of in any kind of creative pursuit.
I don't see anything different than I see at the open mics, that I see at showcases, that I see at headlining shows.
But he's selling out. He's headlining and selling out shit now.
Dude,
because of marketing.
He's not wrong. He's fine.
It's different, right? It's marketing.
I respect it. I respect the game. If you're making money in the shit that I'm trying to make money in, then who the fuck am I to talk shit?
He found a different
sound
way
like
to
a
make
bitch. Like if you know, who am I to talk shit? I'm nobody.
Yeah. Right. But that's not true. You aren't. You're a content creator. But like he found a different way to market his content that lightning in a bottle, dude.
Yes. He found a few things in the algorithm that connect.
Yeah,
with a certain audience, not
and
even
it spirals.
Yeah.
And it's very successful for that dude.
Yeah.
But like, what sucks is, and I just saw it today on TikTok, a comedian, and she was saying how like, hey motherfuckers, if I post a clip of me doing crowd work, it's not because I want to be Matt Rife. Okay.
So now we're left to defend ourselves because we're not doing either a all crowd work special or.
And she and her and I don't know who it is. But I watched her thing.
Fair enough. It's probably better.
And she was like, I just finished a special.
Yeah.
It hasn't aired yet.
Right.
I am working on a new set. So I don't have anything to share.
She's doing the work though.
She's like, but
at least she recognizes that she burned the work on the special.
She burned it on the special, and she doesn't want to do those jokes on TikTok because it's coming on the special.
Yeah.
And she's like, so I just threw up a crowd work spot because like I was at somewhere and I did crowd work, and so I put a clip filmed. Up, and it doesn't have anything to do with my special or my new shit that I'm not ready to share with you people yet. And then now she has to fucking defend herself because people are like, you're right, man. I'm like, shut up.
Just be yourself. Yeah. Also, for the fans, like, everyone's different.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I'm not Naeem Ali. I'm not Dan Callan. Oh, I'm not way less than them, but you know, we're all different.
Yeah.
But it's all good. If it's good, it's all good. There's enough room at the table.
If you're funny and you're making good content,
that's the point.
You're funny and you're making good content.
That's all.
Fuck what you heard. Yeah. Like, fuck all the haters and the people that want to come at you. I had people come at me and tell me I'm just trying to be like Joe Rogan,
which is hilarious.
But like, what am I going to say? Yep, I guess so, man.
Yeah,
I guess I am.
Sorry, I woke up in 2005 and
10
started
years longer than him, but okay.
Recording myself for Man, can't shake that Rogan feeling.
Yeah. By the way, I like
Rogan.
Which
we both love Rogan.
Yeah, I've seen him live several times.
Yes. Yeah, we saw him too, accidentally together. Remember 2013 at the Tower?
At the Tower, yeah.
We were like, I went with my buddy and you went with Kitten Sparks. And we saw each other.
I saw him him at the Comedy Cellar. Or not the Comedy Cellar, the fucking LA. The big
Comedy Store.
The Comedy Store. I saw him at the Comedy Store. I was there for work.
Yeah.
And then I was
got to go to the
hey man, we went and we were on Price is Right, and my friend the guy I work with.
That's right. You were on the Price is Right, bitch.
He fucking won the fucking showcase. And then the same trip.
Yeah.
Was it the same trip or was it? No, that was the second. The second trip is Price is Right. The first trip to LA Comedy for the Store. LA Auto Show, we went to the Comedy Store.
Who'd you see?
I saw Rogan. I saw who else? Joey was not there. I was really bummed about that.
See Bobby?
Bobby Lee? Yeah, Bobby Lee was. I think Bobby Lee was there.
Which room were you in?
I don't know.
Main room, belly room.
I think it was main room.
Original room.
I don't know. I don't remember.
Okay.
But it was like one of their like misfits of comedy night or whatever they call it.
But you definitely saw Joey.
I forget. I mean, look back at my ticket.
Joe Rogan.
Yeah. Who's the comic from Philly? The woman. Who's tight with all them? She's from Philly, but she lives out there now.
Oh, Dice's ex?
The redhead.
Wait, you talking about Voss's wife, Bonnie McFarlane?
No.
Or what's her name? She dated Andrew Dice. If it's
it was
the same
I mean, it was so long ago. Like I can't remember. It was pre-pandemic, dude. Everything pre-pandemic has disappeared from my brain.
Was it the one who started as a waitress and became a comic?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that was Andrew Dice. I cannot remember.
You're a terrible comic.
Yeah,
you're never gonna get anywhere.
I'm disqualified
you can't remember her name
for that.
And it was I forget who else was there, but it was fucking. It was like an amazing.
You saw
night.
some killers.
Oh, dude, crushing it at the Comedy Store. I was like, this is the fucking coolest night. I had 2 PBRs and some chicken fingers.
Hell yeah.
2 drink minimum.
2 drink minimum, but the chicken fingers.
But yeah, it was. I don't know how we got into that, but yeah, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Rogan. I haven't listened since the Spotify thing happened.
Yeah,
not a Spotify dude.
Yeah,
per se, but like. There's some great content out there. Like there's a lot of room for everybody.
He finds what he pursues the guests that he finds interesting.
Right.
And if you do that, if I do that, then if you're interested in what I like, if you're at all interested in our story, journey, whatever, then you're gonna dig that shit.
Or the band journey.
Yeah. Don't stop believing.
Don't stop believing. That's
even
the theme of this. If not tummy sticks, it's don't stop believing.
Even if your singer comes from Southern Asia. Yeah.
Brazil, right?
Where is it?
I think he's from Brazil.
Sure. That one.
Yeah, that guy. Their new singer. I don't know if that's true.
He nails it, though. I know that.
Yeah. But yeah, dude, there's content for whatever the fuck you want to do, right?
Yeah.
I Google searched punk rock, and that's how I started on this. Or not Google search, iTunes Music.
Yeah.
Punk rock, and that's how this journey started. Because I literally went, if that motherfucker can do this, I can do this.
Yeah. And that's how I started, too. Same thing. Like, I think I might be able to do that one day. But I had no one to do it with the first time around. So See You Next Tuesday was my first podcast in 2010 was a one-man podcast. And I did what I could because I had friends that I had great conversations with, just didn't want to be on mic. You know?
Why didn't your guitarist friend want to do it?
Oh, Ryan?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, he would be around. Great. We're still in contact, like loose contact. I gotta get that guy.
Get him in, dude. That would be fascinating.
He's amazing. He's the best. Ryan Mole.
Yeah.
From Rumpelstiltskin Grinder.
Was the greatest band name.
The best name. On Relapse Records.
The Philly record label.
Which was a big label. Brian Posehn had a deal with them.
He did 2 records. Two of his.
Yeah, so they were legit, man. And he was my next door neighbor for a couple of years. And I got to hit that dude up.
Yeah, he had like an Adidas sponsorship, I think.
Yeah.
For being a guitar player.
Yeah. And if you watch his shit, he's so humble.
Yeah.
About his shit. He needs someone blasting him out all day. If he had someone that was the alter ego of him doing like his social media, he would be fucking, bigger than Slayer. Like,
gotta be a hype man. He needs a hype man, dude.
Yeah. I love that dude. I recorded a song with him. Remember Finger Paint?
Yeah.
Look it up on YouTube.
Yeah. Fucking A, man.
Where can people find you? Obviously, listen to the Mediocre Show.
Yeah, it's where all the finest podcasts are sold.
Yes. Just the one.
We're on the Spotify.
Yeah.
You can get it on Spotify, on the iTunes. Mediocre Show. Mediocreshow.com. You can do that. What else? We got we've got all the social medias. I mean, Mediocre Show on Instagram, Facebook. I'm Eric Tomorrow on all of those things.
You're out here.
Yeah. I'm around
out here.
But like, here's the thing: is like my Instagram has now become just like my children and fucking barbecue meats.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
And pictures of my dogs and Jeeps.
Yeah,
like that's
dude,
really all.
It's fucking life, dude.
But yeah. I mean,
it's authentic.
How about this?
What do you want? Do you want to be fronting like your shit is something else that it isn't?
Go see Troy and his squad of the Philly comics at these open mics.
Oh, everyone else is above me. But
that's your squad now, right? That's your squad.
What?
I think it's your squad now.
I hope so.
Hang on to them dudes. They seem like genuine ass.
I'm sticking by it.
But yeah, like
learn from the best.
But you can listen to 920 something fucking episodes of my fucking life if you want.
Yo, check out like the Matt Kittensparks era and the transition. That was slick.
The subtitle of that show, and I don't know what number it is, but it's The Consultant.
The Consultant,
and it's like the 2 or 3 on either side of that.
Yeah,
like you'll kind of see it, and that's a fun.
It was so slick,
man. And then
you had me listening on my work breaks. You know what I mean?
Oh, I had with the episode 40. Real quick, the last thing we'll fucking talk about.
Do it.
Our plan was, and that was during the Kittensparks era.
Mm-hmm.
Also, like, I don't know if people were numbering their episodes when we started, but I did because I kind of just wanted a
worked
chronological.
Out because that's how. Yeah.
I wanted a history, like to keep it in order and stuff like that. The timeline has gotten all fucked up, by the way, because when people wanted me to put the shit on Spotify, you can't have video in your feed on Spotify. So there's
a separate video podcasting.
Yeah. So if your main feed,
that's what you mean by that.
So if your main feed had video in it, it would reject your feed entirely.
Yeah. So you got to do like separate.
I had to parse out all of my video out of the feed. Us fucking with 311 fans. I had to get rid of that, which was great.
Yes. And the Juggalos.
And the Juggalos, man, I'm fascinated by Juggalos. We could do a whole episode on fucking
You're
ICP.
coming back, motherfucker.
We'll do an all ICP episode.
You're coming back. I got to get Matt in here and eventually a 3-headed monster.
I'm fucking down for it.
Fuck yeah.
Big time. He'll bring out the luchador mask. But so episode 40, Matt and I have always had this thing that we did. I've never done it. I think he's done it. But we always had this concept.
Whatever it is, I'm sure he's done it.
40 days and 40 nuggets is what we called it. And the deal was you get a 40 of malt liquor.
Okay.
And 40 chicken nuggets, and you have 40 minutes to consume all of it. Because that is a straight terrible idea.
That's like a Edward duct tape hands. What is it?
Edward 40 hands.
40 hands. Thank you.
Yeah, but this is like you can sit there like a gentleman, like a doctor, and fucking enjoy your chicken McNuggets and your 40 of St. Ides. You don't have to tape anything to anything.
St. Ides, fancy.
Or whatever.
Dude,
I
fancy.
like whatever you got. Mickey's. If you got Mickey's, I will.
Can you do Mad Dog 2020?
I don't know. That seems like a terrible idea. But that's 20, not 40.
True.
So you can't.
We're skewing.
Mathematically, it doesn't fucking
we're
work.
Fucking with the algorithm. Alcohol.
Actually, that's pretty good. You should write that down.
Algorithm.
And so our plan was to do a video episode of us playing 40 Days and 40 Nuggets, and we didn't get it done in time. And then I was like, well, it's fine. We'll just skip it. We won't say anything about it, and then we'll do it eventually, and we'll put it back in the feed at number 40, and it just never fucking happened.
And that's it.
That's the whole fucking thing. That's why there's no episode 40.
It's the mystique.
Yeah, and then episode 1 I deleted because it was so bad.
Yeah.
But there's a couple people that have it on a burned CD.
I feel like I've heard it, but I feel like I was also drunk.
I've got it. Someone sent
because
Joe.
You're the type of dude that would have sent it. I mean, you would have sent it to me if I asked.
If you asked, I would send it to you. I think I might have it on a server somewhere still.
Yeah.
But like, it's like, and that's the thing is there was a mystique to episode 1. Yeah. People were like, I gotta hear it. I gotta hear it.
Let it sit though.
And I'm like, you don't gotta hear it, bro.
It makes
like,
it better if you don't.
I'm telling you that it's fucking
just
atrocious.
Yeah.
And it's me stumbling through.
It's a
20
podcast.
minutes.
You don't want to hear anyone's first podcast.
Yeah. And that's what when people ask me about podcasting, and I don't think I told you this because you had already been podcasting for years, but like if people are like, what should I do? I want to start a podcast. What should I do? I always tell them 4 episodes.
Don't let the world
Don't even
hear.
fucking release them.
Yeah.
So you start at -3.
Yeah.
And you go -3, -2, -1, 0.
Now you started.
Then episode 1, you've done 4 episodes and no one has to hear it.
Yeah.
Fucking play it for your girlfriend, play it for your buddies.
Yeah.
But don't fucking put it up because no one needs to hear it. If you start at episode 4, then you're already got a rhythm, you've already got it going, it feels more polished and more better. So that's my only advice that I ever give people. It's either don't start a podcast because it's going to consume fucking 20 years of your life, or start with 4 episodes that no one hears.
Yeah. If you're going to show up at Wimbledon with a tennis racket, you might as well have played 5 matches before that, son.
Yeah. What is with white people in pickleball, by the way?
I need it to stop.
What is happening?
I need it to stop.
It's insane.
It's attacking the beaches.
Yeah.
We went down to Ocean City over 4th of July, Jersey, and there's the white youths are infected with the pickleball.
Oh, the youths are too.
In the alleys.
Old people.
In the alleys. White kids in the alleys playing pickleball.
I need stickball.
This is an epidemic we need to deal with, son.
Let's get a stickball game going with a half a tennis ball. But that's now I've sidetracked us again.
It's all right.
It feels to me.
This podcast is a sidetrack.
I've never. That seems insulting somehow.
The whole show.
It feels to me, and I don't understand pickleball in any way, right?
I don't know. It's like ping pong on a tennis.
Right, and zoomed in on it. They went like this. They pinched outward.
Yeah, it's like a Mario Kart of ping pong and pickleball.
I don't get it.
It's a Nintendo version of tennis.
Yeah.
Is what it is.
So Wii tennis. Just play Wii tennis, guys.
Wii tennis. I love you, man.
Love you too, dude. Thank you for having me, and thank you for letting me just babble for fucking 2 hours. How long are we got? 2 hours.
Yeah.
God damn, dude. Maybe split this into 2.
No, never.
Well, thank you, dude. I appreciate it.
I love you, man.
Love you too.